welcome you to Beantown. Tonight from Boston, Massachusetts, the Houston Astros conclude their 2017 season with the first of a four-game series against the first-place Boston Red Sox in the AL East. The Astros come in with 98 wins. The Red Sox are leading the American League East by 3 games. Hi, everybody. Welcome. Todd Callis alongside Jeff Blum. Glad you could join us for another night of Astros baseball. Blum, we are rounding out the 2017 season, and still with 4 games to go, a lot to play for right now. We mentioned the Red Sox are leading by 3 games. The Astros still trying to get that #1 seed in the American League. They are currently trailing the Cleveland Indians by 1.5 games with 4 games left to play. There we see the overall best records. The Indians at 159, and the Astros are 1.5 games back. The magic number for the Indians to clinch the best record in the American League is 2. That's the same magic number for the Boston Red Sox to wrap up the AL East. So a lot to play for in the next 4 nights.
There is a lot to play for, but for both teams, obviously the Boston Red Sox want to clinch that division title. They've got to wait and see what the Yankees do, but they're going to go out there and play their best baseball, and so are the Houston Astros. I think that we've heard these guys talk plenty about wanting to go out there and get that American League record. Their focus has shifted from the division title to now seeing what they can do as far as the best record.
More than likely, it will be the Red Sox and the Astros in round 1, but Houston can make an impact if they win 3 out of 4 or sweep the series at Fenway. And what a way to kick things off with a guy on the mound in Brad Peacock, who has been so solid.
Yeah, Brad Peacock has been very good. He could be that second starter in these division playoffs, but he's going to have a chance to go out here and face some pretty good right-handed hitters for the Boston Red Sox. The interesting thing about that is the fastball-slider combination for Brad Peacock has been very good. He's holding right-handed hitters to a 172 average. The slider percentage is up. I expect the same thing to happen tonight going against this heavy right-handed hitting lineup for the Boston Red Sox.
So he'll be opposed by the lefty Eduardo Rodriguez, and the Astros will be with Carlos Correa right in the middle of the lineup, looking to take the first game of this 4-game series. When we come back, it'll be Julian Morales talking with Blummer himself about Carlos and the impact he makes on this lineup.
To Boston, the Astros come into Fenway Park. They have 98 wins and looking to get several more with 4 games left on the regular schedule. The Astros feeling great about the way they've been playing baseball. They swept the Rangers, and in yesterday's win, we saw some guys go off, including Carlos Correa, who was activated from the DL on September 3rd. We've been looking for him to get it going because he had a fantastic start to the year. This is one of those great games for him where he had 2 home runs against Toronto right before the All-Star break, and a day where he put up big offensive numbers. So did the team. 19 runs they scored against the Blue Jays that day. As he goes, this team tends to go, and since coming off the DL, like I said, we've been looking for that offense to come back for him. It did in that game yesterday. Another 2 home run performance for him. 12 runs the Astros put up there. The lineup drastically different when the shortstop is in it. The cleanup hitter driving in runs. Everything seems to go the Astros' way when this guy is hitting. You can see without him, the numbers are dramatically lower in all categories, especially the runs per game and the average OBP, you name it. So Carlos Correa, we've been looking for this. We've been hoping that he could feel good here before the regular season ends. And I'm going to bring in Jeff Blum for a little more on this shortstop. Like I said, this is what we've been hoping for since returning from that injury, Blummer, but the numbers show the difference for him. How much is it just for the entire team to have this guy going and going well?
He's a big key. He's obviously in the middle part of that order, but this is a guy that thrives on the spotlight. He's only 23 years old, and we talked about how early in the year he might be taking some MVP votes away from Altuve. Then he got hurt, and we had a chance to see what this team can do without him. They need him in this lineup. They need him doing what he's done in the last 5 games, hitting .524 in those last 5 games, putting up massive numbers. But the thing for me, hitting in that middle part of the order and having guys around him that get on base consistently, every time, or 34% of the time when he comes to the plate, he has a runner in scoring position. That's why when the numbers are big, the Astros are winning big.
We'll see him tonight against the Boston Red Sox as he plays well here at Fenway. Thank you so much, Blummer. We'll see you coming up in just a few short minutes. 23 home runs for Carlos Correa, and he'll be playing behind Brad Peacock. It's all coming up next here on AT&T Sportsnet.
Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. And by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. Kicking off the first of a 4-game series between the Astros and the Boston Red Sox. Possibly a preview of the American League Division Series, which will start 1 week from tonight at Minute Maid Park. Here's the Astros starting lineup presented by Southwest Airlines. George Springer at the very top of the lineup. He'll be playing right field tonight. Springer hitting a grand slam, his 34th home run of the season, to wrap up that series in Arlington. Alex Bregman plays third and hits second. Mr. 200 hit himself, Jose Altuve, hits third. Carlos Correa in the cleanup spot at shortstop, followed by Evan Gattis, the DH. Marwin Gonzalez playing left field in front of the monster tonight. Yuli Gurriel at first base. Cameron Maybin patrols center and bats eighth. And hitting ninth, the catcher, making yet another start, Brian Mccann.
On the mound for the Boston Red Sox is left-hander Eduardo Rodriguez. On the season, he is 6-6 with that 3.91 ERA. He has one start against these Houston Astros. Went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, only 1 earned run. He had a couple of walks, 8 punch-outs in that game. He has a live left arm, the fastball averaging 93 miles an hour. It's a very good pitch for him. Hitters hitting .239 against it. Also has a slider and a changeup to go with it.
Curious to see this guy. He has been really good, and the Astros haven't faced him since 2015 as he delivers a strike to start this game. Joe West, the crew chief, behind the plate this evening. Firing crew includes Andy Fletcher, Hunter Wendelstedt, and Alan Porter from first to third on the bases. Springer takes one for a ball. It's 1-1. George with that grand slam up to a career high 85 runs batted in. He's already set his career high in home runs, which now stands at 34. Pitch misses, and Springer with a 2-1 count. Last time the Astros faced Rodriguez was July 5th of 2015, so not a ton of at-bats for many of these Astros against this Red Sox 24-year-old left-hander. Down and away, and George with a good hitter's count to start this game.
Good time for the Astros to face some more left-handed pitching. They did a great job against Cole Hamels, putting 6 runs on him. But you want to continue that good feeling against left-handed pitching. They have decent numbers. They've just been unable to put up the W's against them.
Yeah, we've talked about this all season long. It really is hard to figure out why the record is so bad against lefty starters, because the numbers don't jive with that. As Rodriguez loses Springer, the first batter he faces.
Tonight's Texas Auto Diamond Kings. How about that offense? In that Rangers series, they outscored the Texas Rangers 37-7. That .368 batting average, everybody getting in on it, even though Altuve was probably one of the lesser of them, only getting a couple of knocks. But it was time to unload, and that was a bit of a statement series for the Houston Astros against the Texas Rangers, and they went out there and made a very loud statement, raking the baseball all over the ballpark to put up those 37 runs in 3 games.
Alex Bregman fouls one back. For me, after the struggles the last 2 years, that was the new sheriff in town series, because even though the Astros had played well against the Rangers early in the season, the Rangers had come back and had a chance to win the Silver Boot, win the season series before those last 3 games, and Springer and company really made a large exclamation point statement.
And the Rangers, when the Astros first got in there, actually were trying to play for their playoff life. They were still technically not eliminated from that wild card race, so it was a big series for them. They came out punching hard, but the Astros just had too much firepower.
And A.J. Hinch realizes that the same is the case in this series with the Boston Red Sox. They have a magic number of 2 trying to wrap up the AL East, and A.J. is not only trying to get the best record for his own team, but he's also trying to do the Yankees a favor and beat the Red Sox as much as possible. Yankees are trailing in their game in the first inning 1-0. There is a shot tonight that the Red Sox could celebrate if they win and the Yankees lose with the magic number of 2. One and 2 the count to Bregman.
I think it's kind of unique with the Astros having such a massive lead and winning that division early, that A.J. has given these guys some other goals other than what they already accomplished in order to keep them engaged and focused through the end of the season.
Bregman misses a high fastball. That has been an effective pitch for Eduardo Rodriguez during his September run.
Yeah, that fastball has been very good for him. Highest whiff percentage this September was on that fastball for Eduardo at 32.2%.
And the high fastball whiff percentage is all the way up to 38.3%. And that's what we just saw with Alex Bregman. Those numbers are the best in the month of September of any pitcher who is qualified. And that's why he has an ERA so low this month of 1.78. Here's Jose Altuve. Ground ball towards the hole. That'll be a base hit. Hit number 201 for Jose Altuve. So after picking up his 4th consecutive season of 200 hits with a base hit against the Rangers yesterday, he starts off this series with an infield hit.
Ho hum, just another day for Jose Altuve, an infield hit. Just out of the reach of Devers at third base.
Altuve coming in with an 11-hit lead over the next closest competitor in the American League, Eric Hosmer. He has a chance to accomplish something that has never happened before, leading outright your league in hits in 4 consecutive seasons. Ichiro led in 5 straight, but one year he was tied with the Red Sox Dustin Pedroia. Here's Carlos Correa coming off a huge last couple of games. Correa broken bat into right field. Springer, a good jump, but he'll be held up as the ball is quickly played back in. But the Astros have the bases loaded as Correa with a broken bat single into right.
Good job by Carlos Correa going the other way. Tough read for George Springer on our MD Anderson strike zone. See Vasquez setting up down and away. That was actually the changeup. Talked about how Rodriguez is primarily the fastball, but there he starts him off with a changeup and off the end of the bat. Drops it in front of Mookie Betts out in right field, and Gary Pettis holding up. George Springer smartly didn't get a very good jump off the bat, but also Mookie's got a pretty good arm.
Yeah, Mookie played that one well. He came charging in, and it would have been tough to score Springer on that play. So here is Evan Gattis with the bases full and 1 out. Evan over his last 8 games hitting .357 with a home run, 4 doubles, and 9 runs batted in. Astros trying to draw first blood in this series. Not only the first of 4 in this 4-game set at Fenway Park, it has the potential to be the first of as many as 9 straight games between these 2 teams.
It's pretty incredible to think about. I'm going to get to know these Boston Red Sox real well.
Evan Gattis and Joe West having a conversation, and West is looking at Gattis's bat and saying something about the way it's hollowed out at the top, perhaps.
It's a cupped bat. I'm not sure what's going on in the end of it. Be interesting to look into.
I mean, we know it's not a pine tar issue with Evan.
Yeah, not at all.
Joe said, hey,
how does Joe know?
Evan is grab a piece of lumber and go to the plate. So
yeah, he literally just exchanged one bat for the other when the bad boy came out. But I'm not sure. Joe's got some keen eyesight, we hope.
Now Gattis down in the count, 0-2. Evan batting for the 10th time this year with the bases loaded.
AJ doing some investigations. I'm not sure he's entirely convinced.
Gattis 3 for 9 with the bases loaded this year with 8 runs batted in. Down 0-2 to Eduardo Rodriguez. Stays alive. Gattis had the day off yesterday, but had played the 3 previous games. And it seems like he's in a pretty good rhythm at the plate with a .389 average over 4 games and solid over his last week and a half. Springer, Altuve, and Correa are your base runners with 1 out. Red Sox infield not quite all the way in. They've been in a little tweener zone, kind of halfway, although the middle infielders are a little further back to potentially turn two.
Yeah, I think with Evan at the plate, guys up the middle will be thinking about turning that double play. Guys on the corner might be coming home with it. It's tough with George, who can run at third base.
Pretty good hack by Gaddis.
Gaddis he's not afraid to go out there and try and attack that heater around beard high.
And he asked Joe West, was that up? And Joe might have said the same thing. Was that your beard?
Yeah, beard level.
Well, tonight is supposed to be as warm as it will be for the next couple of nights, but you won't ever see Evan Gaddis with batting gloves or the long sleeves. It's still a coolish evening. Gaddis takes one inside. 2-2 on the 94-mile-an-hour fastball. John Farrell trying to do something that no Red Sox manager has ever done, and that is win 3 American League East Division titles.
I believe I read something that the Red Sox have never played in a wild card. Just been winning those divisions.
Won them in 13 and 16. After getting down in the count 0-2, now the count is full, with the bases loaded and 1 out, and the pitch count rising on Rodriguez.
And he throws the fastball quite a bit, 65% of the time. Here in this 3-2 count, and the effectiveness of that fastball, you've got to be sitting on the heater if you're Evan Gaddis.
Called third strike. Gaddis taking a 3-2 pitch. That was pretty close, but called a third strike by Joe West for the second out.
I think that was a cut fastball. A very good, very well located cut fastball on that inside corner, framed up nicely by Vasquez. But Eduardo Rodriguez only throws that pitch 5% of the time. Can't really be sitting on that. Just made a quality pitch in a tough moment.
He usually throws it a little more to lefties as well. He did come through with that pitch, and now it's Marwin Gonzalez. Springer walked. Altuve with an infield hit. Correa with a broken bat hit.
There's that pitch usage we're talking about. 65% of the time it is that fastball. On the bottom, you're seeing the cut at 2%. 206 average against. That changeup has been good in combination with the fastball.
There's a strike. It's 1-1. Marwin coming in 9th in the American League with an .898 OPS. He leads his team in RBIs with 87. Last 4 games he has been outstanding, raising that batting average up above 300 to 301. He has 1 grand slam this year, back on May the 2nd. Into right center field. That ball is going to be troubled down and towards the wall. Springer scores. Altuve scores. Correa scores. And the Astros jump in front 3-0. 90 RBIs for Marwin Gonzalez as he clears the bases.
Attaboy Marwin having a career year. What's great to see is that his numbers are not jumping off the page right-handed, but he has gotten some quality ABs. And at right-handed, he's really done a good job with pitches up out over the plate. Barrels that one up nicely and shoots into that right center field gap. Just an RBI machine.
We didn't think there would be an Astro potentially getting to 90 RBIs, and here we are with 3 games plus the rest of this one, and Marwin has reached 90. Yuli Gurriel will now bat. Such a big pickup after Evan Gaddis was called out on strikes, to see Marwin take that high fastball, which has been the effective pitch for Rodriguez lately, and do some damage with it.
Well, we've been talking about all year the depth of this ball club and the ability of these guys to pick each other up consistently throughout the course of the season is what has mattered most, especially with 2 outs getting those RBIs.
Those are more earned runs allowed by Rodriguez than any other start this month. And we're only 6 batters into the game.
He's usually very good at home. In 10 starts, has a 3.81 ERA.
Rodriguez is the first of what could be 3 lefties they face in this series. Right now, Chris Sale is slated to pitch on Sunday, but that could be altered if the Red Sox don't need that game. They should see Drew Pomeranz on Saturday, though. And of course, they'll see Sale if these 2 teams match up in the postseason. Really pops one up on the 1-2 pitch, playable. Vasquez, the catcher, makes the play for the final out. But the Astros score 3.
Marwin Gonzalez has been captain clutch this season for the Houston Astros, driving in that 90th run, going the other way, picking them up early.
The Astros drew first blood with a 3-run double by Marwin Gonzalez. Here's how the Red Sox will line it up for John Farrell tonight. Xander Bogaerts leads off the shortstop, followed by Dustin Pedroia. Andrew Benintendi is in left field. Mookie Betts is in right field batting cleanup. Mitch Moreland at first base. The DH is Hanley Ramirez. Rafael Devers is at third base batting 7th. Christian Vasquez is the catcher, and Jackie Bradley Jr. in center.
Let's check out Brad Peacock going for the Houston Astros. Really been a humongous bright spot for these Houston Astros, even out of the bullpen, but now out of that starting rotation, making his 21st start. That record is correct. 12-2 for Brad Peacock. The 2.98 ERA is very nice. He has shown good fastball command. The average against that fastball is 211, but the slider, we talked about the percentage going up in his last start, almost 38.5% of the time he's going to use that slider. It has been effective to right-handed hitters. He's done a good job with command on that slider also.
Starts off Bogaerts with a couple of strikes. The Red Sox have seen Peacock before, but this is a whole different Red Sox team than last faced him. And it's a whole different Brad Peacock, as he last pitched against the Boston Red Sox in the 2014 season. 0-2 pitch is in the air to right field. Springer comes on and makes the play for out number 1. The slider retires Bogaerts.
League leaders are going to be presented by Houston Methodist. Dustin Pedroia has got very good numbers against the Astros in his career. Good enough to be almost 400, Ted Williams like. Highest all time and a minimum of 125 at bats against the Astros. The Astros are also very happy to see that Big Papi is enjoying his retirement too, because that was a 1-2 punch that would just continue to do damage against Astro pitching.
Yeah, the Red Sox in general have really hit the Astros well. They have 8 different players on their active roster who have a 300 career average against Houston with at least 25 ABs, and none better than the aforementioned Dustin Pedroia with a 1-1 count against Peacock. Brad Peacock has gone from a guy who was trying to make the team out of spring training to moving to the bullpen for the first month, to getting a chance to move into the rotation as a spot starter, to becoming a regular member of the rotation, and now he is pitching at Fenway Park in what could be a preview of the next appearance for Brad Peacock in the postseason.
Yes, final start of the season right here at Fenway, and he could be right back here game 3 or 4 starting the playoff game for the Houston Astros.
It has been, of all the stories on the Astros in 2017, maybe the best story of a guy who has come from maybe the last spot on that pitching staff to now becoming such a big weapon. It'll be interesting to see how he fares against these Boston Red Sox tonight, because he may be very well facing them as the starter at Fenway, as he said, in either game 3 or 4. 2-2 the count to Pedroia. Slowly hit towards third. Bregman has it go under his glove and into shallow left field. Pedroia is going to get to second base as Correa goes back to retrieve the ball.
Something you don't see every day. It's going to be a tough play for Alex Bregman, charging in, do or die with Dustin Pedroia running to first base. Really not sure. Sometimes you play in these older stadiums. I don't know if it's so true anymore, but I remember when I was a lot younger, a long time ago, some of these older stadiums had some soft spots around the infield where the ball just wouldn't react the way you anticipate. And that's kind of what I feel Alex did right there. He was anticipating a little bit bigger hop, and it stayed down on him and snuck underneath.
There goes a 2-base error against the guy who has the best fielding percentage at third base this year in the American League, Alex Bregman. Here's Andrew Benintendi.
Look back at that play for Alex Bregman on our Mattress Firm Supermo. See just a little bit of that curve of that glove coming up, anticipating a little bit bigger hop.
Pitch to Benintendi, misses outside. It's 2-0. Benintendi to the number 3 hitter for the Red Sox, coming in with a .275 batting average, has 20 home runs and has driven in 89 runs. Benintendi in his rookie year with 154 hits, one more than the Astros rookie Yuli Gurriel. The only rookie with more hits than either Benintendi or Yuli is Trey Mancini of the Orioles with 157. Popped in the air, shallow left. Marwin Gonzalez comes in, still coming in. And the wind really seems to be bringing the ball back towards the infield on that fly ball to the left, as Marwin almost was a deep shortstop by the time he made that play.
You kind of see the flag in center field moving from left to right, pushing that ball over the green monster back towards the infield like Todd's talking about. Yeah, that was an extensive run for what is normally an infield that is going after every fly ball.
So here's Mookie Betts. Peacock trying to pitch around an error in this inning. Runner on second base with 2 outs. Brad paints the outside corner with that slider. It's 0-1.
You know what's great about Brad is that in some of these situations where he's had to pitch out of damage or an error behind him, we've really seen the poise settle in. But I think a lot of the poise is based on the confidence he has in his pitches.
There's no doubt that he has that confidence in that slider that you mentioned. Each start, it seems like he is throwing it more and more, and that percentage goes higher and higher. When he has those two weapons going, he almost doesn't need his other secondary pitches. I mean, he's got a curve and a change, but he can almost work exclusively fastball slider. There is the slider away. It's 2-1. What a year it's been for Peacock. Finally got to celebrate a postseason berth. In 15, he was not able to celebrate with the team. 1 week ago Sunday, he was excited as we have ever seen him in his career. Also the birth of Colton Joseph just a little more than 3 months ago. It's been quite a year for Brad. He and his wife Stephanie having their first child. So now a chance to shine on a big stage at Fenway Park to wrap up his final regular season start and perhaps make a start here in Fenway in the postseason. 2-2 pitch outside, ball 3. And Mookie Betts has seen the count go full. The walks have been down as well for Brad after starting the year where walks were a little bit of an issue. Just 18 walks over his last 11 starts. Popped up, shallow right. Out goes Altuve, and the basket catch for the final out. No hits, an error, one man left on base. We head to the second. Astros lead 3-0.
Welcome back. It is time to take a look at our Chevy Straw Poll. Remember, you can find it on our Twitter page at ATT Sportsnet SW. Pick your preferred opponent for the Astros in the ALDS. Who do you want these Astros to face? The Twins, Yankees, Red Sox, or doesn't matter? Let us know. We'll tell you what you think later in the broadcast. TK.
All right, Julia, we should have a better idea with each passing day. So far, it started out where it looked like the Red Sox were enjoying what was happening at Yankee Stadium because Tampa Bay had scored a run in the first, but the Yankees have come back to take a 2-1 lead in that game. As Cameron Maybin is the batter to lead off the second inning after the Astros posted a 3 spot in the first inning against Eduardo Rodriguez. Maybin takes a strike. It's 2-1. In a perfect world, Blummer, the Astros would love to somehow take this thing all the way to a 163rd game if the AL East was tied at the end of this weekend.
Could you imagine? That would be phenomenal. Force the Red Sox and Yankees to play that 163rd to figure out who is that division champ, and then whoever's playing in that wild card situation has to pitch their 1 and 2 just to get to the division series.
In case you're sitting at home and saying, well, wait a second, if both teams qualify for the postseason, don't they go to the overall season standings head to head? And that used to be the case, but Major League Baseball changed that a few years ago. There's such a difference between the wild card team in a one and done and the division winner that they decided to go ahead and play it out if the two teams were tied for the division. It would be played at Yankee Stadium if in fact it gets to that point, as the Yankees do hold the edge this year in the head-to-head matchup. Maben on the ground, one big hop, glove there by Devers, and he makes the play and cross. And there's one away.
The Astros road ahead is driven by DeMontronRV.com. There's the rest of that schedule that you're talking about. Possible 163 played in that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday range. Then having to play that wild card before starting that series against the Astros. The Astros will start on the 5th. We have no idea what time they're going to put that in. It's nice being in the central part of the country, though, because you have a little bit more of a window to work with as opposed to the West Coast, where they usually put you in some shadows.
Ryan McCann's bat shatters on a little soft pop to the shortstop. Bogarts makes the play as McCann got completely blown up on the first pitch of that AB.
I'm going to have to send out a search party for that barrel. I might have gotten up over the screen behind home plate.
It seemed that way. I was watching the fans react, and I couldn't see the barrel hit off the net, so perhaps it went over the net and into the crowd. 2 outs, nobody on. George Springer, the batter. He walked and scored a run.
That almost got back to the first walkway after the first section of fans.
Wow. That is almost 15 rows deep.
Unreal.
George takes a called strike. George scoring a run his first time up, his 111th run of the season. He and Jose Altuve have been running 2-3 behind Aaron Judge pretty consistently at the end of the year. Altuve also scored a run. He's one behind at 110 runs. Springer takes one on the inside corner. It's 1-2. Rodriguez really making a name for himself in these final starts of the year in September, and has probably worked his way into that postseason rotation as George fouls one away.
Yeah, his last 4 starts, that 2-1 record and a 1.78 ERA. I was actually surprised to see that there's quite a few pitchers having a very good September. We got spoiled watching Justin Verlander, Brad Peacock, Dallas Keuchel. There's a couple guys in Cleveland putting up some even better numbers.
Yeah, they've been on such a good run, and their pitching has led the way. That is updated through tonight's first inning with Springer and Altuve both scoring runs. Long way to go, though, to get Judge, and not enough time. One misses, and George in another good AB here has the count full.
Astros offense is in a very good place. Looking very similar to what we saw in that May, June, July stretch where they just started to tear the cover off the baseball, but they were also very selective, laying off pitches out of the zone and putting themselves in some pretty good hitters' counts.
There's a base hit into left field, so George on the 3-2 pitch with a single. He's been on base both times, and the New Britain, Connecticut product, and also University of Connecticut, always enjoys it here.
A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lights. Yeah, George may not be upset if he has to spend a little bit extra time towards the end of the season here playing some playoff baseball around family and friends.
And right now, there are different scenarios. The likeliest is that the Red Sox match up with the Astros, and we already know Houston will have home field advantage. If the Astros win 2 games out of these 4 in Boston, that would automatically mean that they will match up in the next round with a magic number of 2. If the Astros win 3 or 4, we'll see what happens with the Yankees. Alex Bregman struck out his first time up. Oh, 0-2 the count to Alex. Astros starting the night with 98 wins. Second highest total in franchise history. 2-2 on this 4-game series would put them exactly at 100 wins. And a 4-game sweep would match the 98 team with a franchise best 102 victories. Bregman deep to left field, towards the monster, over the monster. Alex Bregman hits a 2-run home run, his 18th of the season, and the Astros out to a 5-0 lead.
Astros have been taking some hacks off some left-handed pitching here recently. First it was Cole Hamels in Texas, and they are continuing the offense here in Boston early against Eduardo. 0-2 heater, missed his spot by about 1.5 feet. And that nice direct path that Alex Bregman takes to the baseball allows him to turn on that 0-2 pitch and launch it over the green monster. That was beautiful.
Here's Jose Altuve. Well, Bregman hit his first home run of the season at Yankee Stadium. It was a grand slam, and now he's going to hit his last home run, whether it was that home run or a home run later in the series at Boston's Fenway Park. Altuve with a ground rule double deep to right center field. He is 2 for 2, his 59th multi-hit game. And the Astros doing a lot of damage with 2 outs and nobody on.
When the Astros are going good and the offense is raking, they are doing a good job, like I was saying, staying off pitches out of the zone, but they do not miss mistakes. The pitch to Alex Bregman was a mistake up and in. He hammered it. This pitch to Jose Altuve was up out over the plate, and he did not miss it.
Altuve with 202 hits now, already with 2 hits, and we're only in the 2nd inning. Astros trying to get to that runs per game total early in this game. They already have 5. Plummer, they're doing things that we haven't seen in a long time in baseball.
Probably won't see him for a long time to come. It's pretty impressive, the numbers they put up. It's incredible that you can average over 6 runs a game. On the road, no less. Some hostile environments, slugging percentage. These guys have literally done it all.
Astros have hit more home runs on the road this season than ever in any other season in their franchise history. Alex Bregman adding to that total with a home run in this inning. Carlos Correa bats with Jose Altuve in scoring position and 2 outs. All this damage coming with 2 outs. Single by Springer on a 3-2 pitch, a home run by Bregman on an 0-2 pitch, and then Altuve drove the first pitch he saw in the right center field for a double. One and one the count to Carlos. Correa with a single his first time up is now 8 for his last 11. Has that batting average up to .310. That home run by Bregman, the 116th on the road this year for the Astros.
98.7 miles an hour off the bat, estimated 396. Altuve's double came off the bat at 104 miles an hour.
That was well struck all the way to the warning track in right center. 3-1 the count to Correa. See if he gets a pitch to hit here from Rodriguez.
Tell you what, the Astros wanted to get a good look at Eduardo Rodriguez just for the potential playoff matchup. And here we go again with the runner at second base. There's going to be a visit at the mound, and that was after Dustin Pedroia got the attention of Eduardo Rodriguez and said, hey, they might be relaying some signs. But the Astros wanted to get a look at Eduardo Rodriguez for that potential playoff matchup, but it may not last that much longer if they keep raking him like this.
This is definitely a statement early against a guy who has been dominant in the month of September. 1.78 ERA in his previous 4 starts this month. 3-1 pitch is outside, ball 4. Correa draws the walk. Bregman's home run was the 119th for the Astros on the road, 5 more than any other team in franchise history. Here comes John Farrell.
Wow. He doesn't want to see any more of this. He doesn't want to leave that bad taste in Eduardo's mouth.
He is going to face 13 batters in this game. And a guy who may be in that postseason rotation will leave after an inning and 2/3.
Fans are not enjoying it.
Fans are not pleased with Mr. Rodriguez's performance tonight. It is 5-0 Astros. We'll tell you about the new reliever when we come back. Are hosting auditions to be a member of the 2018 Coca-Cola Shooting Stars team. As a member of the Shooting Stars, you'll be an ambassador for the Houston Astros brand throughout the year. Visit astros.com/shooting stars for audition information. Quite a start to this 4-game series between the Astros and the Red Sox. The Astros knocking out the starter Eduardo Rodriguez an inning and 2/3 into the game. New pitcher for the Red Sox is the right-hander, 36-year-old Blaine Boyer.
It didn't look like manager John Farrell was too happy with having to go out there and get Eduardo Rodriguez.
He definitely didn't have much of a leash tonight. And I know the Astros have hit him around, but we're only 13 batters in.
Did you sense any panic, or did he pull Rodriguez in the sense to keep this game where it's at, hopefully, or did he limit the damage against Rodriguez, knowing that he may have to face this team in a week?
That's a good question, and I'm not sure what the answer is, and hopefully we'll find out in the post-game comments as Gaddis sends one to right field. Mookie Betts drifts back, and still drifting back. Looks like the ball's carrying to right and being knocked down to left.
Alex Bregman, 2-strike count, up and in. He pulls the hands in nicely and launches one over the monster. Keep piling on for the Astros.
We are back at Fenway Park, and the Boston faithful not enjoying the start to this game as the Astros have jumped to a 5-0 lead. Astros fans are thrilled. 3-run double by Marwin Gonzalez, 2-run home run by Alex Bregman. And now Brad Peacock, who seems to always have a lot of offense behind him, especially on the road, will work with a 5-0 lead.
Maybe that's what I failed to take into account when I asked the question last inning. It's the Brad Peacock effect. Goes out there and they just put up runs for him.
Peacock delivers a strike to Mitch Moreland. Brad pitched in a game earlier this year in Philadelphia in which the team scored 13 runs. He also pitched in a game in Minnesota in which the team scored 16 runs. And he pitched in Atlanta and Toronto before the All-Star break when they scored 16 and 19 runs.
That's ridiculous. It's selfish, man.
He's got all the run support a pitcher could ever hope for.
On the season, he's averaging 8.27 runs in support. I'd have a 12-2 record with that. Man.
0-2 pitch is sent deep to right field down the line, and this ball is gone. Home run, Mitch Moreland on an 0-2 pitch, his 22nd home run of the year. It is a 5-1 game.
That was a slider that just flattened out over the plate.
Twelve RBIs his last 16 games.
A couple of fastballs on that inside corner, and then 82 miles an hour. Not much thought process as a left-handed hitter when you get that pitch. Just react.
Peacock had his best numbers of any Red Sox hitter against Mitch Moreland. He was 1 for 11 with 6 strikeouts, and that one hit was a single. But then Moreland took that 0-2 pitch just inside the right field foul pole. The pesky pole in right. First pitch swinging is Hanley Ramirez. High fly ball to right. George Springer is there. And he puts it away for out number 1. Brad last start 6 innings of 1 hit baseball, allowed a 2-run home run in that game. He's allowed a home run now in his last 4 starts. Prior to that, facing the Angels on the road, only allowed the 1 run on a solo home run, giving up 3 hits. Little bunt attempt by Devers, and Peacock is there off the mound to quickly field it and make the play for out number 2.
The Houston Astros have set up a website so that all fans can help raise much needed funds for Hurricane Harvey relief. Visit ucaring.com/Astros Harvey to donate today. That was a nice gift of an out from Devers to Peacock right there.
And we hadn't seen Devers before. He did not play in that first series against the Astros. Outstanding young prospect for John Farrell and the Red Sox. Here's Christian Vasquez. Vasquez with a .294 batting average overall, but at home he has been the best in the American League. Nobody with a higher home batting average than Vasquez with a minimum of 100 ABs. He's hitting .361 at home. Takes a pitch for a called strike. It's 0-1. Brad pitched around an error in the first inning. The lone hit he's allowed was the solo home run by Mitch Moreland. Yankees have tacked on another run at home against Tampa Bay. They lead it 3-1. You know there are a lot of people at Yankee Stadium every time that number changes in the Astros' favor that are cheering along with Houston.
No doubt.
Peacock wants to talk to Brian Mccann here in a 1-1 count. Brad's only allowed 12 hits this month in 23 innings, including 4 in 12 in his last 2 starts. Just a .206 batting average against for the season. So far tonight, the Red Sox are 1 for 5, right around that number. This one up the middle, past Peacock past Correa into center field. Vasquez continues to hit well at home, and he's a 2-out base runner. Now Peacock will face the number 9 hitter in the Red Sox lineup, Jackie Bradley Jr. Fastball for a strike at 0-1. Jackie Bradley Jr. coming in batting .246, 17 home runs, 63 runs batted in. First time through the lineup, Brad Peacock has thrown a first pitch strike to 7 of the 9 Red Sox. Popped up, shallow center. Correa going back. Maven coming in. Correa can't make the play. Ball falls in as Bradley Jr. hit a pop-up, and Correa kept going out. And the ball was up in the air a long time. You'd like to see that ball caught, but Maven maybe got a late break, never got there.
And that wind is really pushing the ball in towards the infield, so a tough play for Carlos Correa going way out to center field to make this play. Almost did it too. You've seen him make some pretty phenomenal plays going back and making that over-the-shoulder catch. But the combination of running back, looking over your shoulder, and the wind, tough combination.
They're going to give him an error for now. I wouldn't be surprised if that changes. That's a tough error. That is not
very tough error.
That is not a play made with normal effort. That was a tough chance. Now Peacock will face the top of the order with 2 on and 2 outs, and Xander Bogaerts takes a pitch outside for ball 1. One and 1 to count. Bogaerts flied out to right his first time up. Peacock worked around an error in the first inning, now trying to do the same in the second. On the ground, past a diving Gurriel in the right field. And the Red Sox tack on another run, base hit for Bogaerts and an RBI. It's now a 5-2 game.
Not a terrible pitch by Brad. Just a good job by Xander Bogaerts taking advantage of Yuli Gurriel holding on the base runner at first base and shooting it through that hole.
Now the guy that carries the best batting average against the Houston Astros in a career, Dustin Pedroia at the plate. Dustin reached on an error his first time up. Bradley Jr. on second, Bogaerts on first. Strike call. Since 2013, there are a lot of guys that have hit well against Astros pitching.
Mookie Betts 14 RBIs and Xander Bogaerts 17 RBIs.
The 2 runs allowed by Peacock, one of them not earned, matches the most he's allowed in his last 6 starts. There's a strike called, and Pedroia down in the count 0-2. Pedroia has not been consistently in the lineup recently due to a knee injury, but back in there now. Always a good crowd at Fenway Park, and you know that they are living and dying with every pitch with the AL East title on the line. So even though the Astros have already wrapped up the American League West and did so a week and a half ago, 11 days ago, there still is kind of that playoff intensity tonight.
Yeah, you better get used to it because it's only going to get ramped up when they come back here, if they come back here. The atmosphere, like you said, is always good here at Boston. But if you ever have the opportunity as a player to come back and be in this stadium for a playoff game, it's next level kind of stuff. Just the history of it, the intensity of it. It's a lot of fun.
1-2 the count. Peacock misses, the count evens 2 apiece. So now with the extra out, Peacock's pitch count starting to rise a little bit. Could have been the final out of the inning on that fly ball in the shallow center. Instead, it was not caught. So Andrew Bogarts with a base hit after that for an RBI. Now a 2-2 count on Pedroia. Past Peacock, Correa with the throw in time to get Dustin Pedroia for the final out. But the Red Sox tack on 2, including a solo home run, and the Astros lead at 5-2.
A brand new Astros bases loaded. We celebrate the AL West Division Championship with interviews from the team and look ahead to the postseason. All that and more on Astros bases loaded only on AT&T Sportsnet. Todd.
All right, Julia, we head to the third inning. A lot of offense so far for both sides. 9 combined hits, 7 combined runs. The Astros with a 5-2 lead. And the guy who provided 3 of those 5 runs will lead things off, Marwin Gonzalez. Marwin doubled with the bases loaded and 2 outs in the first inning as the Astros made an early statement in this 4-game series. Marwin driving in runs 88, 89, and 90 on the year. Facing Blaine Boyer for the first time. Marwin was a right-hand hitter his first time up and takes a pitch inside for ball 1.
Blaine Boyer's got a fastball averaging around 94 miles an hour. Also has a slider and a curveball.
Boyer came on to pick up the final out of the second inning after the starter Eduardo Rodriguez faced 13 batters, pitched an inning and 2/3 and gave up 5 runs on 6 hits. And we started talking about that at the end of the top of the second. It might have been a case for John Farrell of not wanting to see that starter who may start against the Astros in the postseason, continue to lose confidence against this group. They'd already done all the work with a home run by Bregman with 2 outs and a double by Altuve, a walk to Correa. John wanted him to limit the damage at that point.
It's really what it felt like, but it also felt like the Astros were just teeing off on Eduardo Rodriguez too. I'm not sure if you wanted to leave him in there for much more of that damage, because it's got to leave a little bit of a lingering effect on a guy when you know you're going to probably have to face him in a week or so. But last time out, you just got absolutely obliterated by him.
Marwin with a base hit through the middle. He's 2 for 2 tonight. And Marwin continues to rake lately over his last 5 games. He's now 11 for 18. That's that average around the 305 mark now.
And raking from both sides too. Good job the other day against Cole Hamels. Now we're in this early in this game, a hit from both sides of the plate in his first 2 ABs.
Here's Yuli Gurriel. Popped up his first time up. Swing and a miss. Gurriel into center field. Bradley Jr. is back there in front of the warning track, makes the catch. Marwin thought about tagging, but Bradley Jr. gets the ball back in quickly, and there's 1 away. Here's Cameron Maybin. Maybin, since joining the Astros, has 8 hits and 50 at-bats coming in. That's a 160 batting average, but 4 of those 8 hits are home runs. And he's driven in 12 runs with the Astros on only 8 hits.
It's just on damage patrol. That's all he's doing.
2 2-run, 3-run, 2 2-run home runs and 2 3-run home runs. Now he's going to bunt. Devers comes in, bare hands, throw, not in time. Maybin flying down the line with a bunt base hit. Pretty good effort by Devers.
It's a heck of a play, actually. Ball was bunted relatively firm by Cameron Maybin, but Devers made a great play on it to make that play that close at first base. You could see Cameron Maybin punch at that baseball. Beats it by a half step.
You mentioned it in the Ranger series on that ball that Maybin hit to center field. That was a triple, and then the Gomez throw that got away when he circled the bases. It was one of the fastest circling of the bases of the season, and that included him stopping at third.
He hesitated at third.
And he just has that easy speed with those long strides.
Yeah, he's not one of those guys you really see get down on their legs, drive and dig, and have that, you know, that excruciating look on his face where he's turning. He's just gliding.
Here's Brian McCann.
Talk about pitchers having easy cheese. This is just easy speed.
Fun to watch him run. But this pitching matchup against McCann is a pretty interesting one. These 2 guys broke in together with the Atlanta Braves back in 2005 as rookies. Lane Boyer facing Brian McCann with 2 on and 1 out. And Boyer is going to get a visit. Boyer was with Atlanta 05, 06, 07, all the way through 09. Brian McCann was with them every step of the way. And fouls one out of play, or will it be? Just barely. Almost caught Julia down there. It's 2-1.
That was a good play by Julia. She boxed out Devers and said, "You're not going to catch it." Team player.
Julia's easy to spot with that, I would say, pink or magenta
remember when I faked catching a foul ball over here a couple years ago? They come this way. It's always these pop-ups. I have nowhere to go, by the way. This is the smallest area, and with all my closest friends.
Well, you did a good job, like Blummer said, boxing out Devers. Nice.
That was good.
2-1 to count to McCann.
Heads up play.
And she gave McCann another chance. It's 3-1.
I don't envy you guys. You guys have both been in the line of fire in your careers at baseball fields. I'm glad that every time I've been in the line of fire, I've at least had a glove within range. This is a little bit different up here. We're in range here on foul balls, but there's nowhere to go.
There's only one broadcast booth, and it's no longer around, the old Tiger Stadium.
Oh yeah, I've heard about that one.
That put announcers in jeopardy. But as an announcer, you have up in the booth, you have a lot more time than Julia or anybody down those.
Well, and you can hide under a counter or a desk. You know, there's nowhere for her to go.
Yeah, if I could run, I'd be fine. It's just, you gotta wear it.
3-1 pitch is fouled back by McCann. It's 3-2.
Just brace for impact over here.
So I'm assuming that's one of the 5 jackets you told us about in Arlington.
I brought two with me.
Oh, by the way.
This is jacket 1.
Okay.
Jacket 2's on standby.
We'll check in with Julia throughout the course of this series. See how many of the 5 get worn. 3-2 the count to Brian McCann. He sends a high fly ball in the right center field, playable for Mookie Betts. Marwin's going to tag at second. Betts does have a very good arm and an accurate arm, but no chance on that ball. It was deep enough as Marwin moves over to third, so the Astros with runners on the corners and 2 away. Some of the bats coming alive at a very good time of the season. Tonight is game 159. 3 more games to go in Boston, and then the postseason will start 1 week from tonight at Minute Maid Park. These next few days will determine who that opponent will be. Very well could be the Boston Red Sox. The Astros trying to make them work very hard for their AL East titles. George Springer has a walk, a single, 2-run score. George scored 5 runs in that Texas Rangers series, including 2 on Tuesday and 2 on Wednesday. So he has 3 consecutive games with multi-runs scored. They were checking Maben on first. He does have the ability to run. Leads the team with 33 stolen bases. 1 more than Jose Altuve. And he's tied for the league lead with Kansas City's Whit Merrifield.
I always felt it was nice as a hitter to have a guy at first base who had the opportunity to steal, because it kind of changes the way they pitch to you a little bit, in the sense that they want to throw more fastballs in order to be quick to home plate and have the potential to throw the guy out at second base.
You saw him conferring with Rich Dower. A lot of times the first base coach will pass along the time to home plate on that first delivery. Pitch is outside, is 2-0. There's no doubt Boyer's attention is divided right now, and that's a good thing for Springer.
Exactly. That helps out too. Force that pitcher to hold a little bit longer to try and get the timing of the runner off. Sometimes that can get the timing of the pitcher off.
Vasquez going through the defensive signs in case Maben does run. Knocks the mask off Vasquez. It's 2-1. Astros scored 3 in the first, 2 more in the second. trying for more 2-out magic here. That's been such a big weapon for them. 2-out runs.
It has been remarkable how well they've scored with 2 outs.
Those are relentless. Those are back-breaking moments for the opposition.
They really are. Extend those innings, up those pitch counts.
George fouls one off to our right. In the last inning looked innocent enough. There were 2 outs, nobody on. Springer started it with a single between short and third on a 3-2 pitch. Next thing you know, A.J. Hinch saw his next 3 hitters reach base, including Bregman hitting a 2-run home run. There goes Maben. Pitch is grounded foul. Past Marwin Gonzalez and past Gary Pettis. Hey, with Marwin and Gary at third base, it reminds me of the play in Texas. There was a little confusion as to what was going on there. But you watch that series, Marwin simply ran through a stop sign by Gary, but it worked out to perfection for the Astros because Pettis, who knows Elvis Andrus pretty well, had Elvis Andrus peeking at him when he was putting up the hold sign. So Marwin came in to score without a relay throw.
That was pretty incredible how that all unfolded. And actually have a camera shooting it from the right angle to see the whole thing unfold was impressive.
Boyer able to get Springer, and that leaves 2 guys on base to end the top half of the third. But the Astros lead 5-2.
Powered by Kubota. Justin Verlander has been very good for the Houston Astros. He's been very good in 8 consecutive starts, allowing 2 or less earned runs, tying the longest streak in Major League Baseball with Corey Kluber of the Cleveland Indians. There's a guy in third place that's doing a very good job also this season. Yeah, that's right. Brad Peacock is the guy. 3rd longest active streak in Major League Baseball, having allowed 2 earned runs or less in 6 consecutive starts. You thought Dallas Keuchel and Justin Verlander with a 1-2 punch. You can add Brad Peacock in there, having himself a great season out of that starting rotation for the Houston Astros.
He really has been remarkable, and his numbers are right there with the best pitchers in the game. It's his strikeout totals amongst the elite, and those 2 earned runs are fewer. Tonight he's allowed 2 earned runs. Originally it was an unearned run in the second, but they went back and changed that error from Carlos Correa to a hit for Jackie Bradley Jr. So that now makes that an earned run against Peacock in the second inning in this 5-2 game. Andrew Benintendi fouls one away. Benintendi flied out to left field his first time up. Even though I think it was properly scored a hit, that ball to center field was up in the air a long time. It's one of those plays you'd like to see made for that final out of the second. Brad probably shouldn't have given up that run.
No, I completely agree on that. That should have been an out. Not in the sense that Carlos Correa should get back there and make that play. You'd like to see your center fielder come in and charge in and make a good play on it.
2-1 the count to Benintendi. Sharply hit, backhanded by Bregman nicely. He was the only guy on the left side with the infield shifted around to the pole side, and Bregman makes a nice play for out number 1.
It's a great play. Play on that opposite field side. Sometimes you can get kind of on your heels a little bit, not anticipating the ball coming your way. But that was a great reaction play by Alex Bregman.
Alex is going to lead off next inning, and last year, his rookie year, joined the team after their trip to Boston. So tonight's his Fenway Park debut, and a home run and a nice play to start the bottom half of the 3rd inning. And we talk a lot about Carlos Correa liking the spotlight. I think Bregman kind of fits in that category as well.
I feel like he constantly has that demeanor that he goes out and tries to get some of the spotlight from other guys by performing well. You know what I mean?
He's always been filled with confidence. I think when you are confident and you really enjoy those moments on the biggest stage, and Fenway Park's one of them, certainly. He hit that grand slam at Yankee Stadium. Mookie Betts popped up his first time up. Takes a pitch way outside. It's 2-1. Betts with a 101 RBI season going with 4 games to play. Picked up his 100th RBI on Monday. Good pitch by Peacock. It's 2-2.
Backed up a little bit, didn't it?
Swing and a miss. Brad Peacock gets the strikeout. That is his first strikeout of the game, and it comes with 2 outs in the 3rd. The most popular way to follow the Astros postseason push is MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Enjoy game day, video highlights, StatCast, news, and more. Download MLB.com at bat today. We usually don't have to wait 13 batters into the game for Brad Peacock's first strikeout.
The Red Sox don't hit a lot of home runs, but they don't punch out a lot either. Put together some good ABs.
Peacock facing Mitch Moreland. Brad had struck out Moreland 6 of his first 11 times he faced him in his career, but Moreland returned the favor with a home run down the right field line on an 0-2 pitch, his first at bat. Softly hit towards Bregman, who backs up and makes the play, and Peacock comes back with a strong 1-2-3 third. Astros lead it 5-2. Leading the Red Sox. Big Astros hat making it to Fenway Park.
It's a gutsy move on the road to bring your big hat.
It's a gutsy move. It's one thing to wear your orange and blue.
At home, it's a big hat and it's funny. Here, it's not funny.
It's not funny. Especially for that guy behind him.
Yeah, here you sit behind some pillars. I don't anticipate showing up to Fenway and sit behind the big hat.
Because this is a pretty old stadium and there's not as much elevation change row to row. So it's not really fair for that guy behind the guy with the big hat. As Alex Bregman takes a pitch for a strike.
Had to buy an extra ticket for my big hat.
Alex with a strikeout and also with a 2-run home run, his 18th of the season. That made the score 5-0. It's now 5-2 as we play the fourth.
Big second inning for Alex Bregman. An 0-2 count, gets a fastball up and in. Talked about the spotlight playing on these big stages. New York, Boston. First time here, he launches one over the Green Monster.
Down in the count, too.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
1-1 pitch is fouled away. That's right around the spot where Bregman's home run landed, where we're anticipating that Julian Morales is going to interview the manager, A.J. Hinch, tomorrow.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yeah. Heading to the top of the Monster. Alex Bregman might even get inside the Monster. I'm hearing that rumor, too, for another segment.
Got to put your name in there.
2 pitch bounces. It's 2-2. Well, the Stroh poll that Julia told us about earlier, it's no matter what happens, no matter who the opponent is, it's going to be a great postseason.
Yes, all the way around. I completely agree on that.
I think Boston would be an intense series. Obviously, somewhere down the line is the potential for the Astros to face the Indians. Those have been great games this year, although they have favored the Indians. The Red Sox winning 2 out of 3 at Minute Maid Park, but the Astros outscoring them 13-9. Lost a couple of 1-run games, but I think the Astros are hitting their stride at the right time heading in to the most important part of the season. Bregman stays alive at 3-2. The Yankees have had a nice year. If they win tonight, they're going to win their 90th game. And who would have thought that the Minnesota Twins, coming off a 100-loss season, would be playing in the postseason in 2017.
It's incredible. Yeah, we talk about Rookie of the Year, MVPs, but Manager of the Year.
Ooh.
You know, that's where I think A.J. Hinch has earned the right to get some votes. But Paul Molitor, what he's done, turning that team around in Minnesota from a 100-loss team last year to a playoff team this year, it's going to be tough to match up against.
I think I can almost have a pretty good idea of the top 3 in some fashion. I think it's got to be A.J. Molitor and Terry Francona.
Yeah.
But how that order plays out will be interesting. Ball 4 to Alex Bregman. Yeah, a lot of times you'll see a team that is unexpected, like the Twins, earn their manager a lot of accolades, including possibility of Manager of the Year.
Because as good as Molitor's been, AJ's had to deal with injuries throughout the course of the season and a depleted pitching staff, yet he's made the right moves and put the guys in the rotation that have produced through the middle part of the year. Mike Fiers stepped up. Brad Peacock moving him from the bullpen to the rotation has worked out.
Altuve is 3 for 3 with a base hit to center field. Jose Altuve, coming off a game in which he picked up his 200th hit, now has 203, and it's his 23rd game with 3 hits or more.
It's going to sound really weird, but it's almost a sense of relief for Jose Altuve to finally get that 200 hit on the season. Now he can just go out there and play some baseball and help his team win some ball games again. Been doing that all year, but we kind of saw him stressing out a little bit in our eyes, I think, just in the sense that he was chasing some pitches outside the zone. Now he looks a little more free and relaxed.
No, Julia talked to Altuve before the game. What were his thoughts?
Well, he's glad that he got it over with, you know, and he says that every year that he does it. Now was his 4th consecutive season that way. But 199, you know, he came into that game 1 hit shy and said that he knew he had so many games left, so that wasn't putting too much pressure on him. It was more about winning these games, but nice to get that one done. And he looked back, you know, I asked him about the tough start to the year. He only had 6 hits in his first 8 games and wasn't feeling really good about what he was doing at the plate. And then from there took off, went on the road and had a couple of multi-hit games and did not look back. Of course, had the hot July, but really proud of what he's been able to do so far. However, there's still that batting title that he has his eye on, as well as this Astros team getting the best record in the American League.
Well, he had an 18-point lead in the batting race before tonight, and he's 3 for 3. He had an 11-hit lead for the most hits in the American League, and he's got 3 tonight. He was 11 ahead of Eric Hosmer, so Altuve in pretty good shape to take both of those categories, as Carlos Correa will bat with 1st and 2nd and nobody out. Altuve's highest single season batting average was in the 2014 season when he batted .341. That was the year in which he hit just 7 home runs. Last year he hit .338 with 24 home runs, and this year with his 3 for 3 performance tonight, he's over .350 with 24 home runs. To me, that's the most remarkable thing, is he has added the power and not seen his batting average dip. If anything, it's moved up.
No, and you're gonna find out watching him on a daily basis, a yearly basis, now that we're working together, watching all these baseball games. For the last 5 years, I've seen Altuve get better every single year, whether it be defensively or whether it be just racking up hits, stealing bases. Like you said, to have the ability to hit .350 or close to .350 on a regular basis and add the power of 20+ home runs, it's not normal.
Carlos Correa with a single and a walk. Correa's 8 for his last 11. And he takes a fastball from Blaine Boyer for a strike. It's 1-2. Boyer picked up the final out of the 2nd inning, pitched the 3rd, allowed a couple of hits but no runs, and now a walk and a single to start the 4th.
Just to give you an idea, Tony Gwynn, career .338 hitter, and he topped out at 17 home runs in 1997.
Correa the other way. That's a fair ball and bounds over the fence for a ground rule double, costing Correa an RBI. If that stayed in play, Altuve would have scored easily. But Carlos will take another base hit. He is now 9 for 12 with 2 home runs and 4 doubles in that stretch. Astros lead the game 6-2.
We talked about him in the open. Julie had some good stuff on him. But for me, what I failed to mention is that when he's going good, his ability to cover the plate. We saw the Rangers try and beat him in. He turned on it and launched one out of the ballpark in off the plate. Later in that same game, he goes oppo taco, and here you see him taking a pretty good pitch away and shooting it the other way. But the ability just to go with the pitch, turn on a pitch, tells you that his balance and weight distribution is in a perfect spot right now.
Infield creeps in with nobody out. Runners on 2nd and 3rd with Evan Gattis at the plate. Takes one down for a ball. Gattis has struck out and flied to right. Well, Correa admitted after the game in Texas and Arlington yesterday that it took him a while to get that rhythm and timing down. We are seeing him back to as good as he's been all year. Here's a ball lined towards Pedroia, and the Red Sox second baseman makes a nice play for out number 1.
Tough luck. But Carlos Correa has been very good. With him, without him. 52 games on that disabled list. They played just barely above 500 baseball, but it's all the other peripheral numbers that you look at that get very good when he is in that lineup. Slugging percentage goes up greatly. The runs per game, he is worth 1.2 in that plus department as far as runs above when he's not in there.
That's a significant number.
Yeah, and it's still remarkable to me that every time, not every time, I keep saying that, but it feels like every time he's up there, there's a guy in scoring position, but 34% of the time he steps into that box, there is somebody in scoring position.
The Red Sox elected to intentionally walk Marwin Gonzalez, so the bases are now loaded for Yuli Gurriel. Infield back, hoping to turn 2. Yuli has one of the 5 grand slams on the year for the Astros. His came down to Miami against the Marlins. Career a .500 hitter with the bases full.
Say that again. 500.
Ground ball toward short. Only one play at third. The throw is wide. Altuve scores. Correa can't advance. But a run is home, and the Astros lead this game 7-2. The run was going to score either way, but it looked like the Red Sox might get an out.
A little bit of a bobble by Bogaerts. Not entirely sure he had a perfect grip on that baseball, even with the re-grip. Launched it past Devers.
Astros with at least 2 runners on every inning now lead at 7-2. Cameron Maybin bats with the bases loaded. That's going to go down as a hit for Yuli Gurriel, who's now 6 for 11 in his career with the bases loaded.
Woo.
Red Sox still with the infield at double play depth with Maybin running. He is a tough guy to try and double. It's a 1-1 count. Cameron with a bunt single and 2 at bats. Correa on third. Marwin on second. And Yuli on first. Ground ball, base hit, left field. Correa scores. 1 base at a time. Everybody moves up 90 feet. Marwin held at third. Astros lead this game 8-2. Cameron Maybin 2 for 3. And the hits keep coming. John Farrell back out of the dugout. He's going to go to his second reliever of the night as the Astros have knocked Lane Boyer out of the game. 1 out in the 4th inning. We'll come back and tell you about the new Boston reliever. Astros 8-2.
Season tickets are on sale now for the 2018 season. Purchase now and reap early benefits like guaranteed 2017 postseason priority access, For more info, visit astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
Astros continuing where they left off against the Rangers, scoring 37 runs in that 3-game series. Tonight they've scored 8 runs, and we still only have 1 out in the 4th inning. Astros with the bases loaded and 1 out, facing the new left-hander Fernando Abad.
Left-hander for the Boston Red Sox. Fastball, curveball, changeup. 90-92 on that fastball. 43 innings pitched, 36 punch-outs. See what he does against lefties, keeping him under 200.
Throws that curveball a little more to left-handers, like Brian Mccann, who will be the first batter he faces. That curveball coming around 77 miles an hour. Bases are filled. McCann takes a pitch on the inside corner for a strike. 7 batters have come to the plate for the Astros this inning. Only 1 has been retired, and that was Evan Gattis hitting a line drive at Dustin Pedroia. This is a Red Sox team that was 3rd in the American League in ERA, coming in at 3.66. The Astros with 8 runs on the board on a dozen hits. On this road trip, they have scored 45 runs already, and we're only not even 3.5 games in. Strike, it's 0-2 to McCann.
A couple of games ago, I was talking about how to keep these guys motivated. We said going for the American League best record, going for home field advantage. They've checked a couple of those things off, but still, every time you step into that box, it's an opportunity to do damage and pump your numbers up. You can be selfish when you're in that box.
Bounces up there. It's 1-2. McCann hit a soft pop up his first time up and then flied out to right. Long look in by Abad, and McCann tires awaiting. Marwin's on 3rd base. Yuli's on 2nd. Cam Maben is on 1st. Past the catcher Vasquez. Down the line comes Marwin, and he will score. The Astros lead 9-2 on a pitch that gets away. Everybody advances a base.
Initially, it almost looked like it went through the glove of Vasquez. Just a high heater. Reacted a little bit late. Looks like the velocity shocked him a little bit.
They are ruling it a pass ball against Christian Vasquez, allowing Gonzalez to score. Now the count is 2-2 on McCann. And a called 3rd strike. O'Brien, the 2nd out of the inning. Abad picks up a strikeout. Now we go back to the top of the order, and George Springer will bat for the 4th time in the 4th inning. Astros sending 9 men to the plate this inning. Takes one outside for ball 1. George has walked, singled, scored a couple of runs, and struck out. The top 4 hitters in the Astros lineup, Springer, Bregman, Altuve, and Correa, have all scored 2 runs apiece. Strike called. It's 1-1. Springer has faced Abad 3 times previously and has a couple of base hits. Yankees had been leading their game 4-1 at home, but to the delight of the Red Sox fans, the Tampa Bay Rays have come back to score 4 runs, and the Rays lead 5-4 as they play in the 5th.
Interesting.
Cleveland winning earlier today, so the Astros need to win to stay 1 game back in the best record in the American League race. And if they end up tied, the Indians would win based on the season series. So the Astros need to pick up 2 games in that category. 3-1 the count to Springer. Sonny Gray pitching that game for the Yankees, allowing the 5 runs. Big swing by George, and the count's full.
2-seam runner on the outside corner. George was thinking about trying to hit one probably to that sit-go sign out there over the left field wall.
Slow breaking ball.
Ephus.
Little Ephus pitch from Abad on 3-2. John Farrell had more bullpen action going.
56 miles an hour. Ooh. Trying to get those framing numbers up.
Abad's going to lead the game as Bregman is the next hitter due up. Abad comes in, strikes out Mccann, gives up a walk to Springer. The bases are loaded with 2 outs. We'll have more after this in a 9-2 game. Those signs, Jose Altuve for MVP. He is a perfect 3 for 3 on the heels of picking up his 4th straight season of 200 or more hits. Astros with 12 hits and lead it 9-2. We're still in the 4th inning. Astros have sent 9 men to the plate, and now they will face a new pitcher in Austin Maddox.
13th game on the season for Austin Maddox. Thrown 15 innings. He's yet to give up an earned run. He started the season in Double-A and has a whip well under 1. 12 punch outs in those 15 innings. Throws pretty hard, averaging 95 miles an hour on that fastball. Slider and changeup are the secondary pitches for number 71.
We saw Maddox earlier this year make his major league debut against the Astros. Came on June 17th. He will come into a bases loaded 2-out situation in the 4th inning. Bregman started this inning with a walk. He scored a run. He swings the first pitch and pops it foul towards the Astros dugout, and it hits on top of the Astros dugout for strike 1. Wind continues to blow across from left field to right field. So those foul balls on the third base side are heading back towards the field, but that one was a little too far deep. Bregman with a 2-run home run in this game. He's also scored a couple of runs. Maddox delivers inside for ball 1. Eduardo Rodriguez started this game. And now the Red Sox going to their third arm out of the bullpen. Saw the right-hander Blaine Boyer. Fernando Abad pitched in this inning, and now it's Austin Maddox. John Farrell knew when he lifted his starter early that he was going to need 7 1/3 innings out of his bullpen in just the first game of 4 against a team he may see again in the postseason. This is not the way he was hoping tonight would go.
4-game series too. A lot of those arms out there in that September bullpen are going to get used.
Bregman swings and misses, and that will end the 4th inning. But the Astros score 4 and lead it 9-2. With a big 9-2 lead for Brad Peacock. Peacock allowing a couple of runs in the 2nd inning, but a 1-2-3 third, and will now face the 6, 7, 8 hitters for the Boston Red Sox. The Red Sox starting the night with a magic number of 2. They may be getting help from the Tampa Bay Rays tonight, as the Rays have scored 7 runs in the 5th inning and lead the New York Yankees 8-4. They are still batting in that 7-run 5th. Sonny Gray allowing 6 runs of those 8. Hanley Ramirez flying out to right his first time up. It'll be Ramirez, Rafael Devers, and Christian Vasquez. While the Astros are playing 4 games in Boston, the Cleveland Indians won their 100th game earlier today by defeating the Minnesota Twins. That wrapped up their series with the Twins. Cleveland taking 2 out of 3 in that set, and now Cleveland will be home to face the Chicago White Sox over the weekend. So if the Astros are to claim that #1 seed, they will obviously need to win a lot of games in Boston, and they'll need some help from the White Sox. There's a line drive caught by Alex Bregman. Ramirez retired for the first out of the 4th. Indians winning their 100th, pushing the Astros to a game-and-a-half back before tonight's play. Carlos Carrasco, another excellent outing tonight, went 8 1/3 shutout innings for Terry Francona's team. There's a called strike. It's 0-1. In the air, left field. Marwin going back, still back on the track, reaches up, and he makes the play and crashes into the out-of-town scoreboard. Marwin, a nice running catch in left field.
It was a great play by Marwin, proving he's more than capable to play left field out here at Fenway. Devers making a bid for an opposite field extra base hit, but Marwin, as an infielder, that's got to be a real tough feeling going back towards that metallic wall out there. It's not normal for a true shortstop to go out to left field and rob a base hit like that. Good play. Internally, your body just says, I should be running into something by now. Sounded like your glove.
Peacock takes that effort from his left fielder. 2 outs in the inning, nobody on, and he faces Christian Vasquez.
Indians have 100 wins. The Dodgers have 102. Astros looking to get their 99th today. They have the potential to have 100 wins. There's going to be 3 teams with 100 wins.
Yeah, that's pretty remarkable. The seasons that the Astros, the Dodgers, and the Indians have all put together. And keep this in mind, too. National League records count this year in terms of matching up with the Astros for the potential of a World Series. In the past, it was, in the more recent past, it was the All-Star game that determined home field advantage. But this year, it's based on the best record, regardless of what league you're in. The Astros currently with the 3rd best record in all of baseball, behind those 200-win teams. So, for example, if the Washington Nationals end up in the World Series against their spring training partners, the Houston Astros, whoever has the best record between those 2 teams would host. And right now, the Nationals started the night with 95 wins, and the Astros with 98. Washington tied in their game tonight 2-2. So that can factor in if the Astros don't catch Cleveland, staying ahead of the rest of the teams in the National League playoffs. On the ground, right side, Altuve is there, down to a knee, and Brad Peacock with his 2nd straight 1-2-3 inning with the help of some defense by Marwin Gonzalez. Peacock's retired 7 in a row.
Altuve leading off the fifth. It's our time to play presented by Toyota. Altuve likes to only hang with elite company. He continues to put up numbers every season, and now joining Willie Mays as the only players with a 330 or above average, 20 plus home runs and 30 plus stolen bases in back-to-back seasons. Altuve puts up big goals for himself before every year starts, and he seems to reach those every year. He's got to figure out some new goals maybe. And George Springer, I asked him about the 200 hit that he got yesterday. Springer said, he is a joke. He's a creative player. So I think that's a compliment coming from his teammates, but they really are in awe of this guy who puts up these kind of numbers every single season.
Yeah, it was great to see the guys' reaction too. I mean, they were all on the top step of the dugout, standing and cheering for Altuve. And his remarkable consistency is putting him into an elite category that you rarely see in baseball.
It is incredible.
You mentioned Tony Gwynn's name earlier. Altuve, already with 3 hits tonight, will finally be retired on the ball to center field. You know, I think about Gwynn and Rod Carew. You know, Wade Boggs, who played most of his career here in Boston. Ichiro, of course, guys that year in and year out you could almost count on to either be the batting champion or right there near the top of the list. And now Altuve, with 4 consecutive seasons, putting himself in that same group. And the numbers with Willie Mays, remarkable. When you're compared to Willie Mays,
yeah,
when you've done something in the game that only one other player has done, and his name's Willie Mays.
One other very, very good ball player. Power, average, and speed. Total package.
Into left center field. That's a little cue shot off the end of the bat for Correa, and he has himself another hit. Carlos Correa is 3 for 3 tonight, and he is now 10 for his last 13. Stay hot, CC.
Maddox missed his spot by a good 3 feet, it looked like, on that. Vasquez wanted that pitch down and away. Sometimes you got to hit it like they throw it. Got some funky off speed and just muscle it out there.
Here's Evan Gattis. Evan hit the ball hard his last time up, but he lined out to Dustin Pedroia. He's looking for his first hit tonight. So he struck out and fly to right. Started to mention last AB with Correa how his post-game comments talked about how it takes him a little while to find that rhythm. He said it goes back to the beginning of this year. He didn't really feel that comfortable for the first few weeks. And then coming off the DL after that thumb injury, took him a while, but now we're just seeing him string good at bat after good at bat. And the Indians or the Red Sox or the Yankees and the Twins are paying attention. That is not a good sign for them. Gattis pops one high in the air. It's on the infield. Vasquez called off by the first baseman, Mitch Moreland, who puts it away. Gattis pops up for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, you almost have to just give up and sit back and enjoy what they're doing. They're so good at what they do. Jose Altuve putting up numbers that compare with only one other guy in Willie Mays. Willie Mays was a freakishly good athlete. Jose Altuve is 5'6" and is going out there and doing those kinds of things at the highest level. And those are incredible numbers, but then you put the human element into it and see that guy doing it, almost makes it that much more incredible for me.
I've heard more than one person, one of them being my late father, who said Willie Mays was the best player they ever saw play the game.
Yep.
So if Jose Altuve's in that category, that's pretty good.
Gosh.
Marwin with a count of 0-1. Altuve has been on base 3 times tonight. Carlos Correa has been on base 4 times tonight. Marwin's been on base 3 times tonight. Last time he was intentionally walked. All this offense coming on this road trip, and we haven't even seen the guy who's in the top 5 in the batting race, Josh Reddick, on this trip. He should play tomorrow. He's been dealing with a little back issue, and the Astros have been very cautious with his return. Josh began his career with the Red Sox and always looks forward to playing here at Fenway Park. Julia, what do you have on Josh?
Well, before the game, you know, he wasn't in the lineup, so we did ask how he was feeling, and he said he woke up feeling really sore because of the long plane ride. He actually slept laid across the seats and said it might have put him in an awkward position. So he was actually in a little bit of a panic this morning because of how he felt, but took some swings when he got here, had no pain, which was great to hear. Was actually getting after it. That was a quote by A.J. Hinch, so hopefully he'll be in there tomorrow.
All right, Julia, tomorrow's a righty, the former Astro Doug Fister, so hopefully Reddick ready to go for that start as Gonzalez flies out to end the inning. Houston Astros baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is presented by Southwest. Yes to low fares with nothing to hide. That's transparency. By HEB. No store does more than my HEB. And by the all-new 2017 Nissan Titan with America's best limited truck warranty. See dealer for warranty details. Bottom half of the 5th inning. Jackie Bradley Jr. leads things off and takes a pitch from Brad Peacock outside for ball 1. Peacock allowed all of his hits in the 2nd inning, all 4 hits and 2 runs in that 2nd inning. Really could have been a 2-hit, 1-run inning. But a fly ball in the shallow center field was not handled by Carlos Correa. Rightfully scored a hit, but it was a ball that maybe Maben didn't see right away or did not have a good break on because Correa had to go a long way for it. And Peacock ended up giving up another run after that fly ball. Well, really, Brad's given up 2 runs, but it should be 1 in this 9-2 game. 2-1 the count to Bradley. Now it's 3-1. Brad has not walked a batter. His strikeouts are down tonight. Only has 1 strikeout against this Red Sox team. Blummer talked earlier about how this team puts the ball in play. They've done a good job against Peacock of making contact, although Bradley misses that 3-1 pitch. It's 3-2. Coming in 11.27 strikeouts per 9. That's 5th in all of baseball. Talking about the game's elite that are ahead of him. Chris Sale, Max Scherzer, Corey Kluber. There's a strikeout. Just as we talked about Brad not having many strikeouts, he picks up his 2nd. Beautiful pitch on the outside corner.
You know what's great about the fact that Brad Peacock is still going out there and pitching extremely well? You see the phenomenal location on that fastball down and away, locking up Jackie Bradley Jr. for that second punch out, is that he can still pitch. He's not that wipeout, punch-out pitcher that has to go out there and try and strike the world out. He still goes out there and executes a game plan. He's been very, very good and very effective with the slider this year to create the strikeout. But you're not going to strike out everybody every night.
He's been efficient with his pitches tonight. Right now it's 66, 1 out into the 5th inning. So it's an interesting situation at this point for A.J. Hinch as Xander Bogaerts misses that slider. It's 0-2 because you know Peacock's fine on the pitch count. He's not even at the 70 yet. But you also know he's going through the lineup for a 3rd time, and this is potentially a team he might see again in the postseason. So how far do you go with him?
It's a good question. AJ was pretty adamant about saying that he's not going to be on a pitch count or come out.
Yuli Gurriel near the tarp on the first base side puts it away for out number 2. Well, I mean, you know he's going to at least get him through 5. Try and get him qualified for the win. He needs 1 more out for that. But then beyond that, he wouldn't leave the game because of a pitch count situation. The only reason you would take him out after 5 would be just so these Red Sox don't see him too often, knowing that they might see him in a week or so. Here's Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia reached on an error and also grounded out. Fastball misses 1-0. Mentioned Peacock has not faced the Red Sox since the 2014 season. Pedroia, one of those few Red Sox around then. A whole new lineup for Brad Peacock to face. In his 2 previous outings here at Fenway Park, he allowed 5 earned runs in both of his outings. But the Brad Peacock in 2013 and 14 and the Brad Peacock in 2017 are different pitchers by a large margin. Fouled away, it's 2-1. And I was curious to see how he would handle tonight. I mean, he's been pitching so well, but you know this is your last regular season start. You know there's a chance this is the team you will face in the postseason. So you know this is, I wouldn't quite call it an audition, but at least a preview of what might happen. So you wanted to see him go out and pitch well.
Not to mention what it does for your confidence.
Exactly.
And on the other side, Eduardo Rodriguez got beat around a little bit. That might wear on him in that next start if these guys match up again in the postseason.
Because it wasn't a pretty line for Peacock in his career at Fenway Park before tonight. Oof. There is ball 4. First walk issued by Brad with 2 outs in the 5th. Peacock, who leads the American League in run support, will probably have that to fall back on at the end of the season because he's got another 9 tonight, so it's unlikely anyone will catch him. Brock Holt pinch running for Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia out of the game in this 9-2 contest in the 5th inning. I mentioned he's been bothered by a little knee issue, so Holt in the game as a pinch runner. Yankees got one of those runs back in the 5th inning. It's 8-5 in New York. The Yankees trailing Tampa Bay. This is a city that has seen their pitching staff be less than stellar lately. We mentioned how good they've been on the season, with an ERA 3rd in the American League at 3.66. Then another tough outing. The first really bad outing for Eduardo Rodriguez in the month of September. Pomerantz has struggled lately. David Price not currently in the rotation. He's working out of the bullpen. So if the Red Sox don't come back in this game and the Yankees are able to find a way to win their game, now all of a sudden these fans might be gripping a little bit with a 2-game lead.
And you see the way the Houston Astros swing the bats. Numbers Todd's talking about. But Pomeranz, Porcello hasn't pitched exactly well, but the Pomeranz issue is the velocity's way down. He's getting shelled a little bit. Even Chris Sale, his last time out there against the Toronto Blue Jays, fallen susceptible to the home run. Hearing his sliders flattening out a little bit, but he will be primed and ready for the postseason. But the biggest key, I think, for any team, if they're going to go up against the Boston Red Sox, is to take it out on that starting rotation, because back into that bullpen has been lights out for John Farrell.
Even the guy tomorrow, who the Astros know very well, Doug Fister, he had been pitching well early in the season, but the second half hasn't been as good. Peacock with a 2-2 count on Andrew Benintendi. Bounces that up there. Brock Holt, the pinch runner, stays on first. So now all of a sudden Peacock, after walking Pedroia with 2 outs, has gone to a full count against Benintendi. On the ground in the shift, the shortstop Correa is there. Benintendi retired for the final out. 1 walk, 1 man left on base. We are through 5 in a 9-2 game. Time to head back to the studios and join Bart Ennis and Mike Stanton. For Astros fans, guys, thank you very much. A 9-2 game as we head to the 6th inning. 9 runs on 13 hits for the Astros, including 3 from Jose Altuve. As we head to the 6th inning, it'll be the bottom third of the order. Yuli Gurriel, Cameron Maybin, and Brian McCann. We were speculating last half inning whether or not Brad Peacock would pitch more than 5. His pitch count's fine. He's in the low 70s. And there is bullpen action going right now for the Astros in this 9-2 game. And that is strictly a case for A.J. Hinch of, you've done your job. Let's not let the Red Sox get any more ABs against you if you are going to face them in the postseason. Yuli Gurriel swings the first pitch and grounds one towards short. From the hole, 1 hopper just in time as Bogarts throws out Gurriel for the first out of the inning. Austin Maddox, now working an inning and 2/3, came on for the final out of the 4th. He's allowed 1 hit. Facing Cameron Maybin. Maybin has a couple of hits and an RBI. He is 2 for 3. Francis Martez is warming up in the Astros bullpen as Maybin takes a pitch for a ball. It's 1-0. So if in fact Peacock's night is over, as you look at the young 21-year-old right-hander warming up, he will go out having allowed 3 runs or less in 15 of his last 17 starts and 2 runs or less in 14 of those 17.
Way to go, Brad.
2 earned runs or less in 14 out of 17. That's a guy that should be starting in the postseason. I know he can be valuable to your bullpen, but that is a weapon, whether it's game 3 or game 4, because we know it's going to be Keuchel, Verlander, Verlander, Keuchel in some form. He needs to pitch, in my opinion, I think in a shared opinion here in the booth, as a starter in the postseason.
Yes, indeed. I think he's earned it. It'll just be a great continuation of what's been a fantastic season, surprising season for Brad Peacock.
Saturday is going to be, we mentioned tonight was kind of a preview for Brad to see if he could pitch well here at Fenway as opposed to an audition. Saturday is going to be more of an audition for Lance McCullers Jr.
Completely agree on that. He's pitching with a little something to prove.
He's never enjoyed pitching here at Fenway, and Peacock could have said the same thing with his numbers coming in. And if Lance looks good on Saturday, I think you would anticipate him making a start here at Fenway, possibly game 3. Saturday becomes a big day for McCullers and a decision maker for A.J. Hinch, as Cameron Maben sends one foul down the line. Maben up to 10 hits now as an Astro with his 2 for 3 night tonight. And 4 of those 10 have been home runs. Up and in is 3-2. Trying to hold up, but he goes around. Maben didn't think so. Joe West called it at home plate, and that is a strikeout for Maddox. There's 2 away.
Peppering that down in away corner.
I'll bring up Brian Mccann. McCann looking for his first hit. Pops foul out of play. The combo, and yes, Mark DeRosa, we know you were the first one to come up with it. The combo, Brevin McGaddis, is the only 2 hitters in the lineup that have not been on base and do not have a hit.
Interesting how that works out.
They are the same guy after all. That was genius. We saw the Strozone handing out the Adventures of Brevin McGaddis shirts earlier this year. It's the perfect name for those 2. They all seem to be together, riding the team bus together, hanging out in the lobby together, in the dugout together.
Match made in heaven.
Maddox ahead of McCann, 0-2. Astros trying to win their 99th game of the season tonight and extend their road record to 51 wins and 27 losses. They've never won 50 games on the road before. McCann goes deep to right field, and at Fenway Park, Brian McCann gives the Astros double digits with a home run, his 17th of the year.
The cannonball. Giving the Astros 10 runs, double-digit run totals in the last 4 games.
The Astros had never before scored 11 in 3 straight games, and for the first time ever, they scored 10 or more in 4 straight games. 47 runs scored in the 4 games on the road so far.
Ball was crushed.
He has looked much better at the plate since coming back from that knee injury.
Get on those legs, create drive through the baseball.
Here's George Springer. Springer takes the pitch upstairs for a ball. It's 1-0. George with a walk, a single, a couple of runs scored. He's actually walked twice, officially 1 for 2. First run allowed by Austin Maddox. Astros scoring 5 off the starter Eduardo Rodriguez and getting 4 more off of Blaine Boyer. Fernando Abad 1/3 of an inning, and now Austin Maddox facing George Springer. He's now faced the entire lineup for the Astros. George down to the count 1-2. Astros 10, Red Sox 2. Not a whole lot to cheer about for the local Fenway faithful. The only thing they've been able to cheer is the out-of-town scoreboard, where Tampa Bay leads New York 9-5 in the 6th inning. Red Sox coming into tonight with a magic number of 2. In the air, shallow left center field. Bogart's calling everybody off, makes the play for the final out. But Brian Mccann gives the Astros the 10th run.
Laying into that one, 104 miles an hour off the bat. Estimated distance 410 beautiful feet.
To the bottom half of the 6th inning, Astros scoring in 4 of the 6 innings. And after Brad Peacock was very efficient through 5, only allowing a couple of runs on 4 hits, he turns it over to Francis Martes.
Thursday here in Boston, Frankie Tuesday is going to take the mound in relief of a great outing by Brad Peacock. 5-2 record for Francis. He has made 4 starts on the season. That ERA is bumped up a little bit over 6.
First batter he faces is Mookie Betts. It'll be Betts, Mitch Moreland, and Hanley Ramirez. Five innings for Peacock. He allowed all the hits in this game were allowed in the 2nd inning. And the Red Sox put up a 4-hit, 2-run inning. Again, one of those runs could have been prevented with a little better defense. He got through the 3rd and the 4th in perfect fashion, allowed a 2-out walk in the 5th, and allowed a runner in the 1st on an error. Trying to hold up his Betts, and he does. It's 1-2. A.J. Hinch couldn't believe that. That was a swing. Instead, Betts gets another pitch. Peacock walked 1. He struck out 2. Peacock's ERA for the season. Today was his last start. 132 innings. He allowed 46 runs. 44 of them were earned runs. So his ERA on the season exactly 3.00.
Impressed.
Broken bat. Altuve on one bounce. Gets Mookie Betts for the first out. We said early in his tenure in his rookie season, it seems like Francis Marquez likes the stage and his first chance to pitch here at Fenway Park. It'd be nice to see him have a strong outing here. It's been a little bit shaky the last month or so.
Yeah, it would be nice to see him finish strong.
If he does not make the postseason roster, he is 21. This is a pretty good team that could easily be in the postseason in future years. I think Francis Marquez will make a postseason roster at some point.
Yes.
Whether it's 2017 or not.
No, I agree. This year's been surprising with Francis kind of bursting on the scene with his stuff. But yeah, the ability of his fastball, curveball, and changeup to play with this group right now, yeah, he's definitely going to be in the mix for it. Young, good stuff, and learning how to pitch here in the big league level.
You know, we often talk about what the postseason rotation is going to look like. You also have, as you look ahead to 2018 and Francis Marquez, you also have an interesting decision with him because he is a guy who's shown he can start throughout his career. This year wasn't really any room for him in the rotation. He moved to the bullpen. I wonder where the Astros might see Francis Marquez in 2018. One pitch is a ball. It's 2-1.
It's a power changeup at 91 miles an hour.
Basic 91 mile an hour change of pace. Three and one, and when he has been in trouble and has struggled in September or August, it has been because of the control.
Control outside of the zone and also control in the middle part of the zone.
Strike called is 3-2. Astros scoring 10 runs or more in 4 straight games for the first time in team history. Into the shift, Altuve has made both plays this inning, and Marquez has a couple of groundouts in the 6th. Are you following AT&T Sportsnet on social media? From player and team stats to trivia and behind-the-scenes photos, find us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest on the Astros all season long. Two outs, nobody on. Hanley Ramirez will bat. Hanley is fly to right and lined out to Alex Bregman. 1 week from tonight, myself, Plummer, Julia, about 36,000 of our closest friends will be making a lot of noise at Minute Maid Park.
Oh yeah.
We'll get to be a fan for the first time this season. It's been our pleasure to be along on this 162 game journey with you in the regular season. It turns over to a national broadcast in the postseason. We get to be fans a week from tonight. That's going to be a fun night.
You know what that means? Cotton candy for everybody.
I cannot wait. It's such an exciting team. It's been such an exciting season to sit here and know, and they've known it since a week ago Sunday, to know they're going to be playing in the postseason, and now having the home field advantage in the ALDS. That place is good. I can't wait to see what it's like for a postseason game at Minute Maid Park.
I was going to say, we get pretty jacked up being in the booth calling some of these games in front of sold-out crowds and watching these guys play very good baseball. It's going to be real different being in the seats and kind of wandering around the concourse and feeling that vibe a little bit. That's going to be a lot of fun.
It may be against these Red Sox. We shall see. That will be determined over the course of this series. 1-2 the count. Martez ahead of Hanley Ramirez. That pitch misses. It's 2-2.
Didn't hit a spot, but it wasn't a terrible pitch.
Over the season, we've mentioned the Astros numbers versus left-hand pitching and right-hand pitching aren't that different, but their overall record against lefties coming into tonight, lefty starters, 2 games under 500. But they did some damage against Cole Hamels in Texas, and tonight hit Eduardo Rodriguez around a little bit, inning and a third, maybe a little more than a little bit, inning and a third, 5 earned runs. So that's some good signs, because you're going to see some lefties if you face the Boston Red Sox.
Well, that was the thing, too. They figured they'd be able to throw some lefties at the Astros where they have trouble winning against lefties. But Taylor 2 ball clubs, runs per game, edge Houston, batting average Houston, home runs by a lot. The Houston Astros starting pitching relatively similar. It's those bullpens is where there's a real discrepancy as far as pitching is concerned, and that's what the Astros want to try and avoid by having that vaunted offense put up big numbers early.
The old 5-6 fielder's choice after Hanley Ramirez singled to end the inning. We head to the 7th in a 10-2 game.
Astros behind the scenes at Minute Maid Park with an Astros ballpark tour. The tour lets you check out areas like the broadcast booth, press box, dugouts, scoreboard, control room, and more. Visit astros.com/tours to book your tour today.
7th inning baseball. A.J. Hinch has had the benefit of some big leads lately. 11-2 win on Monday, 14-3 win on Tuesday, 12-2 win yesterday, and Matt Barnes takes over for the Red Sox in a 10-2 game in the 7th inning tonight. We may see A.J. give some guys breathers. We already see Derek Fisher on deck, but Alex Bregman will be the first one to face Matt Barnes.
Matt Barnes throws hard, 95-mile-an-hour heater. A couple of secondary pitches, has a slider he brings at 88 miles an hour, the changeup at 87.
Facing Alex Bregman, who has hit a home run, walked, scored a couple of runs, and struck out twice. Yankees game goes to the 7th. Yankees are still trailing Tampa Bay 9-5. If the Yankees lose tonight, even if the Red Sox lose, they will see their magic number reduced to 1. There are only 2 spots in the postseason that still need to be determined. All 5 teams are known in the American League. It's just whether the Red Sox will be the AL East champions or the first wild card team. And in the National League, the second wild card still has to be determined, with Colorado having the advantage over both Milwaukee and St. Louis. Milwaukee winning tonight. St. Louis tied in their game. Colorado not playing. With the Milwaukee win, Brewers are now 2 games behind the Rockies with the weekend to play. Now, coming into this road trip, as Bregman looks at a called third strike from Barnes, it didn't appear like the Astros had a shot at 900 runs for the season. But with what they've done in these first 4 games, scoring 47 runs, now it's a possibility. They're up to 884 runs scored. They have the 3 innings remaining in this game, plus a 3-game weekend portion of this series to go. And they need 16 runs.
At this pace, they'll get that tomorrow.
They've already reached the point where they are second in franchise history in runs scored. And if they get to 900 runs scored, that'll be the first time since the '09 Yankees that anybody has scored 900 runs in a season. Here's Derek Fisher pinch hitting for Jose Altuve. Altuve's night is over. We can already go ahead and, while we're talking about end of the season accolades, crown Jose Altuve as the batting champion, and he'll set a new mark by leading the league in hits for a 4th straight year. That's never happened before, where a player's done that outright for 4 straight years. 3 for 4 tonight as Fisher gets his first at bat. Shallow left center field. Wynn knocking this down, and that's going to fall in for a hit. Well, Fisher, a little service into left center field for a pinch single.
It's a peach, huh?
I'll bring up Carlos Correa. Correa has reached base 4 times tonight. He reached base his first 4 times last night, all on base hits. He reached base 3 of his first 4 times the previous game. Correa is in a 10 for 13 stretch, including a walk.
What?
10 for 13.
10 for 13.
Has that average up to 313. He was below 300 when this started. He was coming in at 299 before Tuesday night's game. That ball's into right field. Well struck. Going back, Mookie Betts looking up. This ball's gone. Correa has done it again. Opposite field home run, a 2-run shot. The Astros lead 12-2. My goodness.
What is going on? 11-14 now? That's all? And just piling on. 49 runs scored in the last 4 games.
Back-to-back 4-hit games for Carlos Correa. The man is as hot as we have ever seen.
Yeah, he's not going out there and getting duck snorts. These are rockets all over the ballpark. 3 home runs in the last 2 games. My, you got to high-five him with an oven mitt. He's so hot.
Evan Gattis bats with a 1-0 count. Correa, a 4-hit game last night, or yesterday afternoon, a 4-hit game tonight. Been on base 5 times. He has driven in 3 runs. All of a sudden, Correa's up to 84 runs batted in. Marwin better look out. Correa could still, after missing 42 games with that thumb injury, still could win the RBI battle. There are 5 guys on this team with 80 or more RBIs. Marwin started the night with 87, but he drove in 3 tonight, so he's up to 90. Correa with the 3 tonight has 84. Springer has 85. Altuve has 81. And Josh Reddick, who's missed the last 4 games, he's sitting at 82. Gaddis with a count of 2-2. That's sharply hit. Nice play on one hop by Devers. Rafael Devers retires Gaddis, who can't buy a break tonight. He's 0 for 5. Hit the ball hard a couple of times. Once at Pedroia and this one by Devers.
Center cut fastball, and instead of trying to turn on it and go over the green monster, Carlos Correa lets it travel a little bit, brings those hands through first nicely. See good lag on that barrel, and then he just absolutely destroys it going to the opposite field. 101.4 miles an hour off the bat, estimated at 381 feet into that bullpen.
They're just barely cleared, but that bullpen's deep.
Yeah, right field here is very deep.
You get it down the pesky line, you can get a cheap one, but out to the bullpens, that is a well-struck baseball. Here's Marwin Gonzalez. He hits the ball hard. That's a fair ball down the line. Marwin on base for the 4th time. He's going to have himself a double. 2 doubles, a single. He was intentionally walked. Marwin having himself a night as well. Gonzalez was over 300 for most of the summer, then dipped down into the low 290s. Now he's well back above the 300 line. Tyler White's going to hit for Yuli Gurriel. Yuli finished the night 1 for 4 with an RBI.
With Yuli getting that base hit, total bases at 251 this season, ties a rookie record for the Houston Astros. Back in 1965, Joe Morgan set the rookie record at total bases at 251.
Nice job. It's been quite a year for Yuli. Still has an outside shot to hit 300. He would need to have a strong weekend. Coming into tonight batting 297. Tyler White getting his first AB. Yuli, though, leading all rookies in batting average with that 297 mark. 41 doubles, by far the most for any rookie. In fact, he's in the top 10. Currently 8th in the American League. Strike to Tyler White. It's 1-1. Well, if you're a Red Sox fan tonight, you're not liking what you're seeing from this Astros team, especially considering that may face that guy or Keuchel in game 1. And the starters for Boston have not exactly been stellar in the later parts of the season.
Yeah, as a Boston fan, are you what do you ask? Do we want to win the division to have to play these guys? Right. Are we cheering for Cleveland to lose so the Astros overtake them? I mean, right. Wow, what you're watching right now is a complete juggernaut, just putting up numbers at will.
17 more hits tonight. swing and a miss. Barnes gets through the seventh. Seventh inning stretch time in Boston's Fenway Park. It's 12-2 Astros.
Carlos Correa is showing he's healthy, in rhythm, and back. Good balance going the other way for the beloved Oppo Taco.
Fans are watching the Astros lead this game 12-2 with 17 hits to just 5 for the home team. And as we mentioned back in that Rangers series in Arlington, A.J. Hinch is going to use his bullpen a little differently this final week than he would in April, May, June, July, or August, because he's trying to get guys lined up for the postseason. And with that in mind, in a 12-2 game, we see Joe Musgrove.
Yeah, Joe's been very good out of that bullpen for A.J. Hinch. You see in those 22 games, 1.48 ERA, strikeouts way up, 31 punch-outs and 30 1/3 innings pitched for Joe Musgrove. And we did not see him in Texas. Last time we saw him was back at home against the Angels, where he went just a third of an inning. Got a punch-out in that third of an inning. Only threw 8 pitches. So yeah, trying to get some work in. Get out here at a stadium that he may be pitching at again in a little more pressure situation.
And because he hasn't pitched in a while, we may see, if the theme stays the same, we may see Ken Giles even in this game, because Giles has gone one day longer than Joe Musgrove since pitching. Musgrove working on 4 days rest. If Giles gets in tonight, he'd be working on 5 days rest. So even if this game stays a large margin in favor of the Astros, we might see Giles if we're seeing Musgrove here. Joe will face the 8, 9, and 1 hitters, Christian Vasquez, Jackie Bradley Jr., and Xander Bogaerts. 5 innings out of Brad Peacock, allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and a walk, struck out a couple. Francis Martez with an inning, allowed a single, and now Musgrove on in the 7th. Astros have outscored their opponents in the first 4 games of this road trip, 49-9. And it's the Rangers going still playoff alive going into that series, and the Red Sox trying to wrap up the AL East. It's not like they're playing a team in danger of losing 100 games. Vasquez flies out to right for the first out. Julia, what do you have for us?
Well, Justin Verlander pitched another great game yesterday against the Texas Rangers, 5-0 as a Houston Astro. And after the game, wasn't really feeling good about the pitch efficiency for him, although lots of strikeouts. The pitch count did get up on him. He was hoping to go a little bit deeper in that game, but that's who he is, just a competitor and wants to be perfect every time he goes on the mound. And guys, we were talking postseason with him before that start on all the experience that he has and how he plans to maybe share some of that knowledge. And he said some of these guys just got to experience for themselves. and he's looking forward to sharing some of those experiences with the younger guys, with some of the older guys who've never been there as well. But as for now, the plan still up in the air for him and some of these other guys. AJ Hinch is going to have to start making some decisions. They'll have the conversation, and then they'll start prepping their body. But everyone right now sounds like they feel good, that they're very fresh at this point of the season, which is always good to hear. But Justin, off to a great start, but looking to make a few more starts for these Astros, TK.
Yeah, he was a difference maker, and the Astros would have made the postseason without Justin Verlander, but they would not have this same feeling that they've had the month of September for sure. Is Altuve asking him how long it took him to write his MVP speech?
Nice.
Just wondering, what do you start with?
Yeah, who do you think first? First of all, I am pretty good.
Bradley Jr., the batter, with 1 out and nobody on. There are changes for the Astros defensively. We'll get those to you. We have 4 different fielders in the game now than we're playing last inning. Derek Fisher gets to patrol in front of the monster for the first time in his career. This one's a diving stop by Musgrove. What else can go right for the Astros? The big fella going down to the ground to make the play for out number 2. The Moose was loose.
The Moose laid out. Wow. Astros are firing on all cylinders. Don't let it get by you, Joe.
Oh, like a tree falling.
That was. Took a while to get down, didn't it?
You saw the new first baseman, Tyler White.
Timber.
There's also a new third baseman, J.D. Davis, and a new catcher in Juan Centeno. Xander Bogaerts with a base hit to center field. And the Red Sox, there's no such thing as a Bronx cheer, but it was kind of, there's no such thing as a Bronx cheer at Fenway Park, but they're kind of sarcastically excited about a hit because they've only seen 4 hits and they were all in the second inning. They haven't seen a hit since the second. Actually, there was 1 last inning. So 6 total in the game now, and Bogaerts will lead the game. We've already seen Dustin Pedroia leave the game, and now Devin Marrero comes on as a pinch runner. Bogaerts left the game, was for a pinch runner as well. Brock Holt stayed in the game, and he will get his first at bat. Tyler White informed Joe Musgrove that he will not be holding the runner on, so don't think about a pickoff in this 12-2 game. Strike to Brock Holt. Holt's played 60 games for John Farrell this year, has a 182 average. 7 runs batted in. What a tough year for Holt. Lines one towards third. J.D. Davis. There's 3 outs already, J.D. No need to throw to first, and that'll do it for the Red Sox in the 7th. It is 12-2.
Like promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Plenty of offensive highlights, and these are the Houston Astros. These are not the Houston Texans. They are putting up comparable numbers to a football team. The offensive coordinator for the Houston Astros has got to be elated to see these guys getting on this road trip and putting up some monster numbers. But if you are wearing that navy blue and orange gray uniform, you're going to get a hit. Poor Evan Gattis is the only one that has not yet, even though he's made a bid a couple times. His better half went deep earlier in this game with a Mccann ball. But it's been a fun evening for these Houston Astros.
And they'll face another new pitcher for the Boston Red Sox, fifth reliever in the game for Boston. Heath Hembree, the 28-year-old right-hander, comes out, and he will face Cameron Maybin to start the eighth inning. Maybin has himself a couple of hits tonight, a 2-for-4 night. Drove in a run in the fourth inning. Astros scoring in 5 of the 7 innings so far in this game. Hembree features a fastball, slider, and curve. On the ground, Devers will have to hurry with Maybin running, and he gets him by his stride. Defensive changes throughout the infield for the Red Sox as well. Holt came into the game earlier for Pedroia. He's at second base. Devin Marrero, after pinch running, stays in at shortstop. Tyler Clippard's warming up for the Astros. And there's also a new first baseman. Sam Travis is coming on to play first in this inning. So only Devers remains in the starting infield for the Red Sox. Here's Juan Centeno getting his first at bat. Also, Blake Swihart is the new catcher, so Christian Vasquez is out of the game. This is not what the Red Sox were envisioning to start this 4-game series. They were hoping to be popping champagne tonight if they were able to win and the Yankees would lose. The Yankees are losing. John Farrell got that part of the equation, at least for now. Yankees are down 9-5 in the 8th. And his team is down by 10 as we play in the 8th inning.
Popping bottles of Advil because of the arm aches and headaches the Astros are causing.
One of the decisions that needs to be made between now and a week from tonight, when the Astros play their first playoff game, is who is that third catcher. Will it be the left-hand hitting Juan Centeno or the right-hand hitting Max Stassi? Each at bat for these guys pretty significant. Tony Kemp made a name for himself in that Ranger series as he tries to find a spot on that bench.
Really did.
That was ball 4, but Joe West is seeing things differently now in this 12-2 game in the 8th, as he's called that a strike. Centeno, instead of drawing a walk, will now hit with a 3-2 count. AJ was slightly amused by that call. And now Centeno has to chase a pitch. That's unfortunate for a guy trying to make a postseason roster. Make your mark at Minute Maid Park with the Astros commemorative brick program. Fans can purchase a brick with customized messaging that will welcome fans into the ballpark each season. Order your commemorative brick now at astros.com/bricks. 2 outs, nobody on. George Springer still in the game, University of Connecticut product. Takes a pitch for a strike. The former UConn Husky always has friends and family here at Fenway Park, and tonight they've watched him reach base 3 times. Batting for the 6th time tonight, he sends one to right field where Mookie Betts drifts over, still going, almost a home run as it turns out, near the pesky pole. Instead, Betts makes the catch. That would have been George's cheapest home run of his 35 if he hit that one.
we have the results from today's Chevy Stroh poll. Thanks for voting in our poll. Thanks for following us on Twitter. We asked you to pick your preferred opponent for the Astros in the ALDS. Sounds like it doesn't matter to you guys, 40%. Maybe you think you can, and I take that as the Astros can handle anyone at this point.
At this point, I think they're right.
Bring them on, whoever they may be.
Yeah, you know what it is? I mean, it's amazing. They're not going to keep up this kind of pressure offensively, but if they're half as good as the numbers they've been putting up in the last 4 days, they're going to do very good in the playoffs.
The last 4 days have been remarkable.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that first game of the road trip, 11-2, would be the smallest margin of victory so far?
Good point. Yeah. Wow. That was a weak game by these guys.
Yeah, that was just the start of things.
Jeez.
Tyler Clippard comes on in the 8th.
Racking up appearances, 66th on the season between 3 teams this year.
Facing Andrew Benintendi. Mookie Betts is still in the game as well. He'll bat second in this inning. "19 years with the Rays, been coming to Fenway Park every year for 3 trips a year. Sweet Caroline is played in between the top and bottom half of the 8th inning. To me, that was the most subdued Sweet Caroline I've heard in my 20 years of coming to Fenway Park.
No, I completely agree. I haven't seen it as often as you have, but I was thoroughly shocked that it was not as loud as it normally is.
This crowd has watched this Astros team come to town and just taken the life out of it, and taken the crowd out of the stadium for the most part as fans continue to drift towards the exits.
When was the last time you saw this many empty seats?
Oh, I mean, this is as tough a ticket in the game of baseball as a ticket to a Red Sox game at Fenway. People just are tired of watching the onslaught by the Astros.
So empty, I don't think there's somebody sitting in the Ted Williams seat out there in right field. Tough to see that far.
Astros fans didn't come dressed for the weather. At least that guy didn't. There's the Ted Williams seat. That's a long way from home plate.
That's an incredibly long way.
How's our girl doing down there? Because it's a little cold for us up in the booth.
Say, if that guy's got his hands shoved in his armpits, what's Julia doing?
Shivering. I have been for the last 6 innings. Hey, but I got some hot chocolate.
How?
Game changer.
Score.
These fans help me out. They sell it like they would lemonade or something on a nice, warm summer day.
Those fans that are laughing
Switch.
with the rainbow jerseys, those fans helped you?
No.
Oh, but Astros fans somewhere back there.
We weren't Astros fans.
Oh, just random fans?
Just fans, yeah.
Nice.
Very nice fans here in Boston.
You don't need to be an Astro fan to be a fan of Julia.
That's true.
I tried to get some clam chowder.
Yeah.
They were sold out.
Really?
It's a hot item tonight.
How early in the game was this?
It was just about an inning or so ago.
Oh, yeah, you can't wait for this. It's a cold night.
It's cold. And I've got my second jacket wrapped around my legs like a blanket. I thought I came prepared, but no. Tomorrow, though, just wait.
Julie, the biggest challenge for you on this road trip and these games that have been one-sided is who's still going to be playing at the end of the game. It's got a spring training feel to it that you don't have your starters around. So who do you interview? Whoever's still left, right?
Right, whoever's left. And it's crowded in there. However, have you seen the dugouts, guys? There's so much more room this year.
Yeah, they widened them?
They've extended them out a little bit further. They put an extra row of seats back here behind me somehow.
I didn't notice that today.
And there's a place for them to sit. However, if they stand, it blocks the view of everyone in this first row back here. All the things that I'm learning during this game. And that's what's really cool about this ballpark, and you guys know it too. I mean, they were right on top of you.
Yep.
You become best friends with everyone around you pretty quickly.
Apparently, so good friends that people bring you hot chocolate.
Yeah. Good thing.
Good work, Julia. 0-1 the count. Sam Travis gets
turn down a cup right now.
No, with the wind where it's been all night, which is blowing in from left, that tends to blow in on us in the broadcast booth. We're not going to complain because we're not in the elements like Julia, but it has been one of the cooler nights of the season.
Well, coming from Dallas
Yeah.
to this.
That's true.
I heard Blummer was wearing gloves. Is
I
that
am.
true?
Yes. No, I'm wearing gloves.
Oh my
I don't have my
goodness.
jacket on like Todd, but I have gloves on, yes. I came prepared.
So does that mean you are not wearing gloves, Julia?
No, I'm not. But tomorrow, I'm telling you, I might look ridiculous.
No.
I'm going to dress like it's below 0.
0-2 pitch. So Blummer's not going with the jacket. I went jacket, but he's got the gloves.
Yep. My hands got cold. Sorry.
You guys have a heater?
No.
here as well?
No, we've got nothing. No, the stage manager up here doesn't take care of us at all.
No, was there supposed to be heater?
Yeah, seriously. I heard the team that was in here before had one, but we didn't get it.
1-2 pitch, and Travis goes down swinging. Tyler Clippard, a ground out, a walk, and now a strikeout. 3 batters he has faced so far. And we'll get a pinch hitter for the DH, Hanley Ramirez. Zue Lin will pinch hit. Ramirez went 1 for 3. Clippard getting the 8th. Joe Musgrove had the 7th. Francis Marquez the 6th. See who AJ uses in the 9th. Again, we said it's not out of the realm that Ken Giles could pitch tonight, even though it's a 10-run game, just because he hasn't had work in a while. Zue Lin fouls one back. It's 0-2. Astros with 17 hits tonight. That's their average over the last 3 games.
It's a lot of hits.
They had 12 hits on Monday, 18 hits on Tuesday, 16 hits yesterday, 17 hits tonight. Clippard strikes out the final 2 of the inning as he gets Lin to finish off the inning. Auto Group, Carlos Correa continues his incredible run. 4 for 4 tonight with a walk. He is now 11 for his last 14, including an Another home run tonight and a double. He has 3 home runs and 4 doubles in that stretch. Jose Altuve, not a bad night, 3 for 4. A team record, first time in franchise history, 10 runs in 4 straight games as they bounced Eduardo Rodriguez in a season-low inning and 2/3 tonight. And the bullpen, which has been the second best in the American League behind the Cleveland Indians, giving up some runs as well, as the Astros have posted 7 on the Red Sox bullpen tonight. Everybody heading out of Fenway.
Yeah, traffic will be light.
Alex Bregman will bat. During these big victories, we've seen Bregman play the entire game, and when you look down, the reality is there's just no other infielders left to play, so somebody's got to play 9, and for the most part it's been Bregman. It was Marwin that first blowout game, but Bregman has gone the distance here in the last 3. He has reached in 11 straight games, hitting a home run with 2 outs in the second inning to give the Astros a 5-0 lead at the time. Bregman's first game here at Fenway Park. What 1-1 pitch grounded to short. Marrero makes the play, and there's 1 away. Well, Plummer, if the Red Sox are the opponent in the postseason, and now the magic number could be down to 1 as the Yankees are still down 4 runs heading to the 9th, Astros could see some lefties.
Yeah, they most definitely could. We know that David Price has been in the bullpen in those 6 innings in relief. He has pitched extremely well. Chris Sale is their obvious ace, and then Eduardo Rodriguez. Porcello's not on there. Drew Pomeranz is a guy having issues with velocity, getting hit around a little bit. But the Astros had their issues with left-handed pitchers. And even A.J. Hinch has hinted at the fact that said, hey, if I had left-handed pitching, I would throw them at us right now. But I think that they've kind of maybe bucked that trend a little bit because it's about confidence. We talked about how the numbers offensively are similar to when they face a right-handed pitcher, but they were unable to push across those runs that would turn into wins. But now they've got those guys firing on all cylinders, and it's good to get guys like Yuli Gurriel and Marwin Gonzalez, Carlos Beltran, those guys that don't normally do well or see a lot of left-handed pitching, ABs against those guys.
Last 2 starts against left-handed pitching, Cole Hamels and tonight Eduardo Rodriguez. Hamels and Rodriguez combining for 4 2/3 innings and 11 runs allowed. And they will see more lefties as Ken Giles, we mentioned, may get work tonight and is warming up for the 9th. They will face a lefty in Pomeranz on Saturday. Regardless of the Red Sox, if they wrap things up tomorrow or not, it sounds like they will pitch Pomeranz on Saturday. We may not see Sale on Sunday if they have things wrapped up at that point. Astros still have a chance to finish the season .500 against left-handed starters. A win tonight would push them to 21-22 against lefties. But again, it's the numbers, if you break them down, especially after tonight's performance, that aren't really that different. Facing lefties versus facing righties. Derek Fisher with a count of 3-2. He singled and scored a run his last time up. Well, it's got to be a thrill, I would think. Didn't talk to them individually about it today, but it's got to be a thrill for all these rookies playing in Fenway for the first time. Special place.
It always is, yeah.
Fisher and J.D. Davis is on deck.
I think it's great because these historic places like Fenway Park and old Yankee Stadium, Dodger Stadium, even Wrigley Field, you have an understanding of history in the game, and then you, as a person and a player, get to dig into that same box that Ted Williams and some of these guys have stepped into. Kind of puts it in perspective and gives you that kind of a cool feeling knowing it played at the same level they did.
Juan Centeno saying, all right, I know you expanded the zone on my at bat. What? Fisher took a close pitch. You let him go to first. There's 1 on and 1 out. JD will get his first AB. He's hitting in the spot that has not been retired tonight, the cleanup spot. Carlos Correa on base all 5 times. Carlos Correa just so locked in right now. Couldn't be a better time for Correa to be doing what he is doing. There was a stretch there, first 10 games or so, he was batting below 200 coming off the DL. It's not the case now.
No.
He was
drastically changed.
He was 4 for 30 coming off the DL's first week back. J.D. Davis with a count of 0-2. 28-year-old right-hander Hector Vasquez pitching this 9th inning for the Red Sox. Red Sox have used 6 different arms out of the bullpen as J.D. Davis takes a called third strike. Max Stassi's going to get an AB as the DH, hitting for Evan Gattis. Gattis, the only guy in the starting lineup that didn't join the hit parade. Hit the ball hard a couple of times, but at Red Sox infielders. And if Sale doesn't pitch Sunday, if the Red Sox have things wrapped up at that point, you can anticipate you will see him 1 week from tonight at Minute Maid Park if it is the Astros and the Red Sox. That will be quite a pitching matchup, whether it's Sale versus Verlander or Sale versus Keuchel in Game 1. First baseman Travis is back in foul territory and puts it away for the final out. We head to the bottom half of the 9th. Astros up 10. Nothing to hide, that's transparency. By Whataburger, the burger you've been craving is back at Whataburger. The sweet and spicy bacon burger, now an all-time favorite. And by Toyota, let's go places. We head to the bottom half of the 9th inning. Jose Altuve and company with 17 hits and 12 runs scored. And just getting a little work in to wrap up this game, and a 10-run cushion is the closer, Ken Giles.
Last time Ken was out there was against the Angels at home. He didn't pitch in that Texas series either for a lot of the numbers that we keep putting up. No need to get your closer up in these double-digit games. But he picked up save number 33, throwing 24 pitches in an inning and a third.
He will start out by facing the young third baseman Rafael Devers taking a strike. Devers 0 for 3, hit a ball deep to left field. Marwin Gonzalez made a nice play on. Devers, Blake Swihart, and Jackie Bradley Jr. are the three scheduled to face Giles here in the bottom half of the 9th inning. Ken ahead 0-2. We'll be back with you tomorrow, 5:30, with our Astros pregame show. 6:10 for the first pitch. It'll be Charlie Morton on the mound against the former Astro Doug Fister. Morton looking for his 14th win of the year. Ken Giles makes a nice play on that comebacker, jumping up to make the snag on one hop for the first out of the inning. Brad Peacock with a win tonight will improve to 13-2. He is going to end up with the highest winning percentage of any pitcher making at least 20 starts this season. Brad Peacock. Better than Kershaw, better than Kluber in terms of winning percentage.
Cy Peacock. He's been unbelievable.
He really has. I mean, that 14 out of 17, 2 runs or less. That's stuff of aces.
Numbers that just jump off of stat sheets.
It's hard for AJ. I would say a month ago, maybe even 3 or 4 weeks ago, AJ was probably considering Peacock for the bullpen in the postseason because he had been there. Of the guys in the rotation, he would be the most comfortable making that transition. But when you go out and day in and every 5 days give your manager a quality start allowing 2 runs or less, it's hard to ignore that.
Yeah, Brad's got to be walking by that office going, do you want 1 inning or do you want 6?
Seriously.
You know, the way he's been going.
I think he has forced the hand of AJ Hinch, and there, you know, decisions to be made, yes. But if we had a vote, we'd know where we'd go. 3-0 the count to Blake Swihart. There's a strike. With the Indians winning earlier today, the Astros trying to win their 99th game to stay 1 game back for the American League's best record. There was a stretch a couple of weeks ago where the Astros were going to have to finish 13-4 or better to get to 100 wins. Now with a win tonight, they only have to win 1 of their final 3 games to get to 100, and the all-time franchise best mark of 102 wins is still in play.
Hundy.
100 miles, Giles?
Yep.
I've heard "Let's Go Astros" chants at Fenway. I'm not sure that happens very often.
There it is. A lot of orange still here in this ballpark.
3-2 pitch misses, and Giles walks Swihart with 1 out in the 9th. And the fans go crazy. Those that are left. Another AB for Jackie Bradley Jr. Bradley Jr. hit a ball his first time up into center field that ended up falling for a hit that could have been caught. Had it been caught, Peacock would have only allowed 1 run tonight. Red Sox would score a run on the next batter. Xander Bogaerts with an RBI single. The one thing AJ Hinch would like to do tonight is see Ken Giles get an inning of work, but he'd also not like to see 25 or more pitches, and he won't if they turn this double play. But Bradley's speed beats it out. Tyler White to Bregman for the force out. They were not able to turn the double play on Bradley. Saw Colin Moran over first base. He's played the last 2 innings at first. Tony Kemp's been in center for the last couple of innings. And they're down to their final out here in Boston. Devin Marrero, who pinch ran, will get his first at bat. Game has gone final at Yankee Stadium. Yankees scored 1 in the 9th. But the Tampa Bay Rays were able to hold on to win 9-6 in the Bronx. So the magic number for the Red Sox down to 1. Despite the fact that the Red Sox are down 10 tonight, they are in position tomorrow to wrap up the AL East. Yankees will play against the Toronto Blue Jays. They have a day game scheduled tomorrow.
Friday day game?
That's what I was looking at. That's why I looked at it twice. It's a 1:05 start.
You look at it.
Masahiro Tanaka scheduled to pitch for the Yankees. So if the Yankees lose to the Blue Jays tomorrow, it is possible that the Red Sox will come to the ballpark having already wrapped up the AL East before their game with the Astros.
Would that be the first pregame celebration?
I would think they would still play their normal lineup, but we'll find out. Joe West could have gone home with that pitch, but it was called a ball. 3-2 to Marrero. And that's the ball game. Giles strikes out Devin Marrero to end it. And the Astros, for the 4th consecutive game, win by a large margin. They win by 10 tonight. They have scored 10 or more runs in all 4 games on this road trip. And they win their 99th of the year and stay 1 game behind the Indians for the best record in the American League.
Player of the game is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It is Carlos Correa, 4 for 4 on the evening. 11 for